What's up, everybody? Episode 200. That's right. We've made it to 200. 200.
Wow.
Ben, do you remember what episode you started as intern by chance at all?
Probably 50, 60 is February 20.
Wow, you've been here a long time too. Evan, you came in pretty early. It was me and Nick.
Yeah, it was 2021, probably middle of the summer, July, August.
And
So,
I remember those formal conversations to start. We were like, okay, what do you give? What do we give? And you're like, I'll bring stats. We're like, thank you. It was awesome. Here we are.
I think I remember, I don't know when I made my first, whatever.
Oh, your first appearance. Was it with Gannon on the show? Who was on the show when you came on?
I mean, maybe Simon even.
Okay.
Anyway, but like, that was I don't know how early that was.
But you've been listening since episode 1, I think.
Yes, but what I was gonna say, because I kind of cut off the conversation, was like I remember talking with Matt about this guy and someone else he's texting about, and they're like, I'm like, who? It's like, yeah, Stat Mando, and like I remember literally like asking a question to Matt in the basement, and he's like, I have somebody. He like messages and like calls you or something right away asking, and then like you give some stats back, and I'm just like, who's this invisible man that's like answering my questions through Matt?
It was awesome. I know that guy.
That was before you were on the show, I believe, because I didn't know your name.
No, that was back when he was just providing like a spreadsheet for us, which was awesome.
Yes, that's right. I remember the spreadsheet and all that. So yes, and I think I was on one of those episodes, so it was fairly early. And I remember thinking, wow, like that's pretty cool. And now here we are.
All right. So
think how much we've grown up.
And where's Nick? Well, 200 episodes it took. We finally decided I'm kidding. We finally decided that he needed a break. How about that? No, he's actually dealing with, is it Deborah? Some hurricane, I think, down in Florida, or remnants of. I think it was Deborah. But anyways, no Wi-Fi or something. He's
loss of power, yeah.
Yeah, so you might see him in the chat. I'm not sure. He's been texting a bit, but no Wi-Fi. So if you're there, Nick, let us all know. But Disc Golf 978, we are proud to present this episode and every episode this season. A fantastic partner to our show. I have a banked up account that's banked up from like my kids playing tournaments, me playing tournaments, and I have like a lot of money in there, and I can just shop at Disc Golf 978 whenever I want with that money. You gotta use them for your tournaments. The players love it. Tournament directors love it because they can run a tournament and not do any of the back end work at the conclusion. So players, packs, payouts, everything happens. Disc Golf 978 takes care of it all around the country. I would say as far as all around the world, just might want to confirm some of the details if you reach out. Incredible. Thank you, Disc Golf 978, for all you do. Use the code WeLove978. I always say it. That code came up organically. We do love 978 and all they're doing. I'll throw this one out there as well. We talked about Disc Golf 978, but they also have an apparel business. Like, how would you describe it, Ben? As part of it, right? It's like part of Disc Golf 978, but it's its own thing.
Yeah, it's a division under Disc Golf 978.
Division. So they will do custom apparel for you in a extremely clean, professional, quick, custom, fast, whatever you want, reach out to them. They're going to do it. They've got an amazing setup over there. I use them for all of our stuff, and they actually hooked my kids up for Junior Worlds with all of their Team Innova gear. It's pretty spectacular. And then shout out one quick thing before we get into talking more stats and everything that went on. I'm always a proud dad, but my son, my second oldest 10-year-old, threw his first ace on International Disc Golf Day. I don't know if you knew that was a thing, but that was August 3rd. He went out and got his first ace. Very cool.
On a legit hole too, everyone.
Yeah, actually it is. It was very legit. I don't even think I got the 2 that round. So
yeah, it's a tough one. I struggled with that hole for a while. Recently, I've been getting it dialed, but before I would not birdie it.
Get it out. I would bogey it. All right. So anyways, excited about that shout out. And I am officially moved into my new residence, but that's kind of overstating it in some ways. Maybe I should say I'm sleeping here. Like boxes are, just stacked everywhere. I'm still doing my regular work job. So a lot of things are just not happening as fast as I would have hoped. I'm sitting in a very disheveled kind of office setup right now, but I got a green screen. You don't know it. So hopefully the audio's okay. Kind of threw this together last minute, and I don't have my fiber optic internet tonight. So we're streaming, I guess you could call it old school cable, but we're doing
Cat
it.
5 cable or something.
Yeah. Cat 6, but with like cable internet, as in like from the road to my house, but they don't offer fiber optic where I am. Boo. Okay. Ooh. Enough of all that. Ledgestone happened 4-round. It was a disc golf pro tour plus event, and it was pretty exciting. A lot of cool stuff, interesting stuff, some hot topics to talk about. We do have guests lined up. As you can see in the show title, at least when we went live, and Gannon maybe, we're pretty sure. I'd give it a 90% right now. 90, about hour and 20 minutes from now, and Holland will be sometime before that. HOLYN HANDLEY. So before we get to all that, Evan, would you go ahead and give us a rundown of what you got, and then we can go from there?
Yeah, totally. We saw Discraft's Ledgestone Open. This event, a long time running event, one of the first Disc Golf Pro Tour events back in 2016. And we see it really every year. Changes a little bit here and there, but still, same great event, known for its big purse. This year, a little bit different than recent years, as in we didn't see Northwood Park featured in this event since it was played for the PDGA Champions Cup earlier back in April. So we saw 4 rounds at Sunset, the golf course for FPO, and 4 rounds at Lake Eureka, the temp kind of open park style golf for MPO. And with that, we saw 2 almost, I don't want to say almost, it definitely was runaway victories, big margins. Ganon Burr wins by 7 strokes, as you noted, and HOLYN HANDLEY also wins by 7 strokes. And I want to touch on this part first, because seeing 2 dominant wins, 7+ stroke victories, Josh, can you guess the last time that's happened at a major or Elite Series event?
So it's going to be totally random. No, I can't guess. 5 years.
Give me a year. 5 years? Matt, how many years?
Say that again. I'm texting backdoor here.
All good. How many years? When was the last time we saw both MPO and FPO winners win by 7+ strokes at a major or Elite Series event?
Oh, 15 years. I'm changing.
No, I don't feel like it's that far, actually. I want to say how many years. I'm going to go. Oh, it might be actually. Time flies. 8 or 9 years.
Ben, I'll also let you guess, but if you want.
Thanks.
Sorry, you're not producing, so I'll call on you.
I know.
2 years.
All right, love it, Ben. I'll give the points to Matt in this informal game. It's 7 years. 2017 Masters Cup was the last time. And I totally had that up with who won, and I really want to pull it up quick to at least give that reference.
Yeah, people want to know. Masters Cup.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up
Garrett
here, but
Gurthie.
we had a 9-stroke win and a 10-stroke win.
Wysocki.
I'm getting there. I have the link, just putting it in. I think it's Paul McBeth. Paul McBeth over Ricky Wysocki by 10 strokes, and then Paige Pierce by 9 strokes. And that was a national tour event. And then if we want to go to the last time it happened at a Disc Golf Pro Tour event, 2016 Ledgestone. How wild is that? The only 2 times in Disc Golf Pro Tour history, and this is not including silver events, this is Disc Golf Pro Tour. They're I don't want to call it their main tour, but maybe that's the best words to use. At this level of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, we've only seen it twice in the history, and both has been at Ledgestone. Just the first ever Ledgestone on the Disc Golf Pro Tour and the most recent ever Ledgestone on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. And in that iteration, we saw Paul McBeth and Katrina Allen win by 12 and 8 strokes, respectively. So I think that's really crazy. I didn't even realize that until this morning. Was paying attention to scores, but HOLYN HANDLEY kind of really blew it open late. For some reason, in my head, I had it as like a 4-stroke win, but she really got that big dominant win. And to cover HOLYN HANDLEY first, it's her 2nd Elite Series win of this season. She is now the 5th FPO player to win multiple FPO major or Elite Series events this year. And that's also the 4th year in a row that we've had 5 unique FPO multi-time winners at major and Elite Series events, which I think is pretty crazy because it never happened ever before that. 2021 was the first year we had 5 women do that. And now 2022, 2023, and 2024, we've all seen that. And then also I want to do a quick stat comparison. Well, comparison highlight of HOLYN HANDLEY on the season. She has fairway hits 79.52%. That's second in the disc golf world stat leaderboard for FPO. She is sixth in park with around 9%. Third in circle 1 in regulation with 42%. Second in circle 2 in regulation with 66. Fifth in scramble. Eighth in circle 1X putting with 78%. And seventh in circle 2 putting in 20th percent. Now, those are all top 10 numbers and a lot of them in the top 5. But what I want to do is do a quick comparison to Kristin Tattar, who has more wins, but has also not been featured on tour as much this year, dealing with injury or planned breaks. She is leading Kristin in fairway hits, in circle 1 in regulation, circle 2 in regulation, C1X putting, and C2 putting. So that's how I'm going to lead in to call on you, Josh. I want to know your feelings on Holland's win, and then also just that highlight of her season stats.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm impressed more and more by Holland, and it's ridiculous to say she's flying below the radar, but there's like so much talk about other players who maybe have had more wins. And then I go and look, and this isn't about the specific stats. This is about winning, right? And, or on the leaderboard at least. And I know this is stating the obvious that anybody could read, but like, I'm just randomly kind of picking, going back to Jonesboro, and it's like second, 10th, fourth, third, second, first, second, fifth, first. And wouldn't you know, Holland has the second most cash this year out of anybody. And she's only like 2,500 behind Missy. Now, granted, big money Missy has the name. She's got the most win or money and the most money as a winner, right? So Holland, in many cases, is racking up that money by finishing second, third, fourth, or fifth. But wow, right on the verge of Worlds. We didn't get to see Holland over at Europe. Maybe that's good from a rest standpoint. Obviously, she missed out on a chance at a major, etc. But that, like, I don't know. It's looking great. As far as specific stats go, I don't know if I have anything to add. I mean, I think it's showing she's good. I mean, she was just like throwing incredible when you have a look at a circle 2 putt. Did you say this stat? But on whatever X percentage of the time.
Yeah, 20%.
Okay. Yeah. So
1 out of 5.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah, from circle 2. Matt, any thoughts?
Just looking over the numbers as we play our pop drop lock, she is in a dead heat with Own. She's in a dead heat with Evelina. And so those three together are having, on average, the best finishes besides Kristin Tattar. Kristin's in she's in a league of her own. But I don't know if we would have argued at the beginning of the season. We said all the potential was there. But now she's doing it. And we asked her last time she was on, was this kind of like the speed bump she had to get over so she could kind of open up that, like, hey, I don't have this pressure. I don't have this monkey on my back or chip on my shoulder, whatever. And now she's just doing it. So maybe. Let's see. I mean, it's the right time to be ramping up. This time of the year is always a good time to do it.
Quick standings check-in. HOLYN HANDLEY is in second place in the Disc Golf Pro Tour World Standings. He trails Missy Gannon by around 60 points. Lots more points to get before the end of the season. Of course, Worlds being a major is worth 200 points, but we also have we have one more Disc Golf Pro Tour Plus event, that's D-Glow, and then we have 2 playoffs. So a lot more points to be gained and a lot more shuffling to be happening. But leader in Disc Golf Pro Tour points gets that very much wanted 10-stroke advantage in the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship with the new format, and no resetting of scores, no cuts, 4 rounds. So that advantage is going to mean a lot to get that big payday. Owen Scoggins is in third, just 15 points behind HOLYN HANDLEY. And then Elina Salonen, who we didn't see this weekend, is around 25 points behind Owen Scoggins. They're all above 1,000. And then we have Kristin Tattar in 5th place with 977. Of course, she's played the fewest events of that bunch. I don't have the exact rundown of surely Kristin hasn't reached her point of dropping elite events, but with only, I think, 2 regular season elite events left with LWS Open and D-Glow. And then we hit the playoffs and we got a major in there too. So it'll be pretty crazy how it shakes out. To bring it over to MPO, Ganon Burr gets the victory, as we said earlier, by 7 strokes as well. Crazy thing, which it feels like his career is flying by. This is his 9th MPO major or Elite Series win of his career. Like he's almost at double digits, and he's as young as he is. He now ties Simon Lizotte for most MPO major Elite Series wins of all time, tied for 9th. They both have 9. Gannon Burr's 2 behind Calvin Heimberg and 3 behind Nate Doss. These wins are coming incredibly quick, mostly thanks to this incredible season. He is first in Disc Golf Pro Tour World Points. He's first in the official Disc Golf World Rankings, and will likely be for the most recent update. I mean, he's already sitting at 1 and got a win. And then Statmando official rankings, he's first. Statmando Power Rankings, he's first. I mean, really, any way you slice it, Gannon Burr is number 1 of anyone in MPO right now. Ben, I don't know how much you watched this year. Watched this weekend, but of course you've watched him this year. What are you seeing with Gannon Burr? This another big win.
It's what I see is kind of what we've been seeing personally. I think we kind of expect this. He's the world number 1. I know you probably heard Philo say that a million times on the on commenting, but yeah, seriously, like he's the world number 1. He's incredible. I think he's no longer in like, wow, this 18-year-old, 17-year-old is incredible. Like he's the future. I think he's now he's the now stage, and it's expected. I mean, I don't think he's finished outside the top 10 once. Maybe if he has, it's been once, but he's been on an incredible run, and it's kind of like Calvin's season last year, except he's winning a lot more. So as for Gannon Burr, he's just now, and he's the best, and I expect him to keep it going.
His worst finish on the year is 13th at the OTB Open.
Okay.
Every single other one is a top 10. So that is 16 of 17 top 10s.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. And I don't have it prepared right now, but maybe that's something to do next week or soon after is do a good comparison between Gannon Burr this season compared to Calvin Heimberg last season. It's pretty incredible what he's doing. Josh, Gannon Burr, thoughts?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, really. I mean, I don't know how many episodes ago we'd have to go back and say, wow, Anthony Barella, like that's the ceiling, like it's incredible. He has a couple wins. Is anybody going to match that? And Gannon Burr, 19 years old, goes, hold my beer. Right? Obviously
not quite.
No, exactly.
Hold my root beer.
Obviously not. But I mean, like, really, right? And now we could go back and have the same thing we did with AB. Does anybody think he wins more than 3 or 4 or whatever that conversation was? I don't recall. And I think we would likely have a lot of people are like, there's a good chance Gannon gets 6. Could you say 7 wins on the season? And in 2024, I don't know if anybody's thinking that. And Gannon's making everybody think, like, why not? Like, he could literally just keep going on a run. Like, why would you not pick him to win Idlewild? Why would you not say he's one of the favorites to win Worlds? Right? And then the list, like, every tournament, you're like, okay, maybe. So it's just really unbelievable. Obviously, we hopefully get a chance to talk to him. Although, if he keeps winning, what are we going to keep having him on the show, right? Ask him why he's so good.
Probably.
Obviously, I'm going to be sarcastic with this comment about the GOAT, right? Because GOAT is obviously specific to all time. Yet I feel like in today's day and age, we compare all time in snippets of time, right? Like, which is not really the way it should go. But like, what's a little GOAT called? A kid. So I think Gannon's like the kid.
Is it a kid? Yeah, it might be a kid. Sorry.
Yeah, it is. And so I think that's my nickname for Gannon, the kid, which is basically he's growing up to be the GOAT. It's too early to say, but wow, what an incredible year.
Yeah. Here's a stat to go over. That was his 5th major Elite Series win of the year. Looking at people to do that in a single MPO single year, there's only been now 12 years, 12 occurrences, 12 seasons of it happening, of having 5 or more major Elite Series wins in MPO. The most recent was Richard Wysocki in 2022, which is the only time it's happened in the 2020s prior to Gannon Burr. And then if Ganon Burr wins one more and gets to 6, which, I mean, feels pretty possible that he's going to hit 6. I mean, it's a question if he's going 7 or 8 or 9. I don't know. But let's say he hits 6 by the end of the year. He would join just 3 players who have done that before in MPO. And it doesn't even include Richard Wysocki. He's hit 5 3 times in his career, has never hit 6 in a single year. Barry Schultz did it in 2003, the first year of the Elite Series events happening with the National Tour. Ken Climo never did this, by the way, and that's also mainly due to his prime being before the Elite Series era, where you only had really 2 majors to get it done per year, so you're definitely not winning 6. But Paul McBeth has done it 5 times in his career, in 2013, 14, 15, 18, and 19, but hasn't done it since, of course. So it's been quite a number of years, going on our 5th year since a 6-time winner in MPO. That'd be pretty incredible. Matt, final thoughts on the winners?
I am going to be me, and I'm questioning I think Gannon is the player of the future, but for the rest of the year, we have no reason to say he's not going to do it, but it doesn't mean I don't question it. Think about how Anthony Barella started out. You look at his 1-4-4-1-1, and you're going, the season's over. Anthony Barella's here. And I'm not saying Gannon started out soft. He started out 4-1-4. There was a 1 in there. But then he went soft for just a little bit, and soft being a top 10. Anthony's been a little bit different, different finishes here and there. But Gannon's picking up that steam again towards the last 4 here, kind of what AB did in the beginning. And it just makes me question, can you keep it up? Not can he do it, because we know he can. But are we putting too much to say he will? And I haven't heard anybody say he will do it. We just know he can. And so let's see what happens. I mean, that's all we can say. I think he gets a Worlds at some point. Maybe it's this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's already a multiple-time major winner, right?
It's incredible. That's all.
Quick standings looking for MPO. Ganon Burr's at over 1,200 points in first. Then Richard Wysocki is just under 100 points, around 89 or so fewer than Ganon Burr. Then we got to go a ways to under 1,000 to hit Nicolas Antela in third. And I mean, we've talked about him plenty this season, but that still almost feels like it's flying under the radar that he's sitting in third place in the Disc Golf Pro Tour World standings. Calvin Heimberg's in fourth. And then Anthony Barella, over 300 points behind Ganon Burr, is sitting in fifth. Matt, you just mentioned that start of the season for Anthony Barella and how hot he is, but of course, with a few not good finishes also in the season, and then not quite the consistency as Ganon Burr and these other players I named, sitting 300 points, and multiple wins won't get you 300 points unless it includes a major. Quickly want to just go down and mention a few notable people on the leaderboard. Lisa Fakis, I mean, I don't know, call her the throw-in queen from that incredible round with 3 outside of circle 2 throw-ins, maybe like half putts, half throwing motion, or full throwing motion. That was incredible to see. She finished tied for second along with Haley King. And then an MPO, Ezra Robinson gets a second place finish. He was on the lead card with his brother Isaac Robinson, who ultimately finished sixth. Chris Dickerson, Calvin Heimberg tied for third. But the name I want to mention is Kevin Jones getting a 5th place finish. And I meant to look this up before the show. Apologies. I'm going to do it right this second. But he in 2023 last season had a almost win at Las Vegas Challenge, but a great finish still. I'm wondering if this is his first top 5 since then. So any thoughts on those people I mentioned, and then I'll bring up the Kevin Jones stat.
I have nothing right now to contribute. I'm interested in the Kevin Jones stat.
All right. Actually, you believe this? He had 2 other top 5 finishes since that LVC second place. He finished 5th at Waco last year and 5th at Deglow last year, but this is his first top 5 at a major Elite Series this season. So congrats to Kevin Jones switching sponsors and getting a great finish. That wraps up my wrap up. I'll kick it back to you, Matt.
Awesome. Fresh. Is that what you said, Ben? Fresh.
Freaking fresh.
All right.
Do your stats tell us the reason that Kevin performed better is because he switched manufacturers? Is that what you're saying?
Ooh.
Oh man, I feel like I want to say someone with Statmando, one of our stat elites. I want to say that they looked into when players switch. Oh man, I remember talking about this a couple weeks ago too, and I was saying like I felt like there's pros and cons of it. So I don't know. It would be good data to do if anyone is interested in it. I would love to see it.
All right, here's a fun trivia game for you that I just made up right now. That always goes well. Out of 95 of our tour card holder MPO players, 95. Give me a number for players that are playing better on average than they did last year. Like, how many do you think? Like, that's a big thing. But how many players on tour are playing better than they did last year?
47.
60.
I'm gonna go low. I'm gonna guess like 39.
Are you kidding me?
Is that the right answer?
That's the right answer.
No.
What?
That was a total guess, and I actually switched it. I was gonna say 35.
You're
but
like
I'm that's a little too harsh.
39.
But keep it in the 30s.
Evan,
Yeah,
that's incredible. Maybe a little luck, but that was good.
Yeah, a little luck, little like intuition of like playing disc golf is hard nowadays. There's so many good players. The field's getting so much deeper. We say this every week that I'm bored of saying it, but it's so very true that we keep on saying it. And there's more people coming up, but then there's also just like more people who are really tour level who can just play a few events who aren't tour card holders, who can just bring that number down. And I feel like we're just seeing a lot of good players. They're not washed. They're not having a bad season. They're still good players who are just having bad finishes. I mean, bad finishes for what they would think.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting question for me to even ask because the players who are at the top can't play much better, like season on season. They can a little bit. One is better. But this is like our game. The players who are farther down have the biggest opportunity. And anyways, not that many out of the 95, but still a good chunk, a third of them. So, all right. I think we should jump right into this topic on Garrett Gurthie throwing a roller on hole 16. For those who saw this unfold, you were kind of shocked. Garrett Gurthie was kind of shocked. And I think even the spotter was kind of shocked. So just to set it up, Garrett Gurthie steps up, throws a backhand roller. And this is a hole that players can, if they play really aggressive, usually on a roller, they can give themselves an eagle look, if you will. Now, that doesn't guarantee anything, but part of that requires you throwing a roller that typically is going to coast outside, out of bounds, and then eventually, as a roller would, if you played it right, come back in right about where you want it. Garrett's watching his roller, perfection, stand up, get ready to make the curve in the line he wants from OB to inbounds, and a spotter finds himself in the path of a roller. And I could spin this story however I want to make it sound good or bad. But the roller found himself in the path of the roll. I mean, the spotter found themselves in the path of the roller. And I'm not going to try to right now say what I think was happening, but the roller bounced and hit the spotter in the chest and came to rest out of bounds. So where it hit the spotter was out of bounds, and it came to rest out of bounds. The spotter steps back silently, I think in shock, like, can I take that back? Kind of a thing. I didn't mean to do that. And Garrett Gurthie with hands in the air being like, can you give me a flag? I'm curious what happened to my drive. This is all unfolding. And Garrett, was Garrett a lead card or a feature card at that time? I think he was a lead card or a chase card. He was doing really well. And long story short, the internet went wild, pitchforks in hand, for Garrett. And I want to be very clear. Garrett, to this point, has made social media posts multiple times asking fans to lay off the spotter. So we're not here to bash the spotter, but we're here to talk disc golf, and this was part of it. This has happened before. I don't know if it's ever happened with a spotter, maybe most notable recently. It was Madison Walker throwing over the water, and a spotter jumped up from the water to grab the disc. That one was kind of unreal to watch, although we realize, in hindsight or whatever, Madison says it wasn't even ever going to come back in bounds, but it's a weird visual. This was a very weird visual as well. It appeared as if the spotter was going to try to straddle the roller. Now, I'll set this up, tee it up for you guys to talk about. Josh, you've been there. I've been there. You're on the receiving end of a disc coming in. And I've done it as a catch cam operator. We've done it as fans. When a disc is coming at you, it feels like the best option is to stand still and wait until it's about to you so you can decide left or right because you don't want to move into it. I think that's what was happening here. And he decided, I'm going to straddle my legs and wait it out, and I'm going to go left or right. And when he tilted left and it jumped off of a root or whatever it did, it hit him smack in the chest. Guys, talk about this. What does this do for the sport? The perspective of it? Is this just a fluke? Is this something that needs to be fixed? Like, what can be done? I don't care who goes. Who wants to go? Ben's talking, but there's no audio. So I don't know if you can hear us. Are you muted, Ben? Okay, go ahead, Josh. He just killed.
He's gone.
Yeah.
See you later, Ben. Ben had a really good take. I mean, I want to react like seriously to your comments, but I also just for a moment, like a little levity. I actually think it's funny. Can I say that? Like, of course I want to give like a real reaction to like, how should we treat it? Blah, blah, blah. But like, yeah, like you said, Matt, like, unless you're assuming the worst, which is also ironic. Like, can you imagine if he's like, I'm literally going to have Double G's roller go through the wickets and I'm going to like, dance around and I'm going to be on coverage. Like, I mean, if you actually think that's pretty hysterical. And you watch the clip and he gets hit and he just stands there. And all I'm thinking is like, are you going to give him a flag? Like, how, like you imagine it's like smackdown out of bounds, red flag. Here it is. So I don't know. My reaction, if you can't tell, is just sarcastic because it's like, yeah, like this is going to happen sometimes. And could we do better? Should we do better? Yes. And that's what I hope is I actually think it's going to be an accumulation of these types of instances over time where more spotters will see mistakes that have happened and will continue to adapt and mature in the sport. I think he felt pretty bad, which is probably why he didn't even think to put up a flag. He looks over, imagine having the camera zoom in on you and it's just like showing what happened. I think, Double G's response later pretty much sums it up, which is like, this guy wasn't trying to do this. So we should probably lighten up on him as an individual. But look, at the end of the day, I don't think we need to tell spotters to try to avoid the disc, but maybe we need to remind them that do not be part of the action in any way.
That's hard, Josh. If you're in his situation, I know people are saying like he's in out of bounds. Where else should he be? If he was 40, 50, 100 feet further out of bounds and the disc came rolling at him, we'd say you should have been 200 feet out. You know what I mean? There's a place where is he supposed to stand? I think he's in an out of bounds area. Now, I'm going to just take it one spot further, pass it to you. I think Ben's audio is working now too.
Hello.
Some people are saying that he didn't interfere in a negative way. And my question is, and I know people are going to roast me for even bringing this up, but then if we are in out of bounds areas, can we just reach up and smack discs down because we're in an out of bounds area? I don't think so. I think you should do everything in you to try to avoid it. And I'm suggesting the spotter kind of did. I don't think there was any intentionality there, but like, you kind of have both things happening here. Like, man, like it's just unfortunate, right? Nothing else could be done.
And Ben, get ready with whatever you've got to add. But Matt, like, that's why I'm saying I agree that I wouldn't like overreact because everything you said is true. But at the same time, you can look at it and say it did interfere with a disc.
Yeah.
That might have come in bounds. So how can we do better?
Right.
And I think both things can be true. You can say this guy didn't do anything like wrong.
Right.
But I think you're saying how far away? What I would say is, well, a little further than that. And I know that sounds like a sarcastic comment, but that's kind of my point is you're right. It's like, there was space behind him, like get past the sidewalk. I don't know. And again, this isn't hindsight saying, boy, that guy should have known. I'm saying now that we go forward, like, let's just keep thinking. Cause Matt, I can tell you that I think if I volunteer to be a spotter somewhere, having seen multiple times, I'm going to be like, how do I make sure I'm out of the way? Now, to be clear, we should have tried to interview him tonight.
I thought about it.
He might actually say what I just said, which is he's like, I was conscious of this and I'm trying to be the best spotter as possible. And I was behind the tree and I thought this was the place where I would not interfere. And yet it happened. And if that's the answer, and that's why I'm saying like, we have to kind of assume that might be the answer. If that's the answer, then I'm like, well, that stinks. And how can we try to do better? I don't know. At the end of the day, like we love to react to things like this because it's fun, I guess.
Yeah, it is fun. What do you think, Ben?
So I heard through the grapevine that a lot of these volunteers come from Caterpillar, as in like the big moving excavator company Caterpillar, because they have like a visitor center, a huge thing in Peoria, Illinois. Meaning a lot of them don't even know about disc golf at all. Like a lot of these volunteers, because just the vastness of Ledgestone and how big it is, and I've even heard that sometimes they put them on like live scoring and stuff like that. So I think we'd have to obviously get to know the guy better if he knows anything about disc golf. But that's what I've heard, that a lot of these volunteers are from Caterpillar and they don't even know about disc golf. So when he sees a disc rolling at him, he probably just didn't think that, okay, this could have potential to pop up in him, because he's just not a disc golfer and he's just there volunteering his time for the greater good of Peoria, Illinois, baby.
Hey, like I just one more like thought, because I even see a comment, so I'll give credit to Joe in the chat. Like, I think at the end of the day, like, what if there were 1,000 fans lining that OB line? And Double G throws a roller that cuts past the OB line right into a crowd of people where they're standing, where they were allowed to stand as fans, right? We would probably not have the same reaction. We might be talking about it, but we'd probably be like, there's 1,000 fans packed on that line where they're allowed to be. Maybe the debate would be more around course design, right? Spectator, like what's the intention of the hole? It happened to catch one particular person who, I think it's ridiculous, but the internet likes to suggest that he's actually trying to have it go through the wickets, right? Like, it's like that stuff is like silly. That's why I was laughing at the beginning, because that's actually funny for me to think about. Like, I would almost rather that be true. You know what I mean? He's like running around, like dancing with the hips, like, you know, whatever. And that's not what happened. So I don't know. It is interesting. At the end of the day, he was standing probably where he was supposed to be. I think we do need to be more thoughtful about it, because our sport is maturing. And by the way, you can't have a counterfactual argument, but that one stroke difference at the end of the day cost Double G $103.
Yeah. Yeah. And the ripple effect, you don't know. It could have gotten his head.
You can't. Yeah. I know. Send it.
Wow. Send it to him, Ben.
Wow.
Thank you for showing your $100 bill on screen. Rich man.
Nice. You're welcome.
That's funny. Anyways, we can move on from that topic, because we go on and on.
But let's move on. Can I sum it up, as you already mentioned, though, with Double G? Like, listen, people who are there in all aspects of a sport usually have the most real perspective of what happened, what the vibe was like. And Double G kind of just summed it up. He's like, look, stuff happens, right? And he was there and he saw it, and he wasn't like, this should have never happened. So we kind of have to roll with people on the course, you know, what they're seeing and feeling. So anyway, let's hope it doesn't happen again. We can say that, right?
Everybody got quiet, though. The spotter, Garrett, commentators, everyone.
That's why
was just quiet.
That's why I said, to me, it was like, it's funny, not like literally funny at the core, but it's just like,
no one knows how to react. Yeah.
And I just like, I don't know why I had this vibe of like, of course, wow, I can't believe it. But the funny, like, he's holding a green and red flag and he can't do anything. Right? Just kind of, it's almost like this camera zooms in on him and he holds still and just makes eye contact with the camera. Like, wah, wah.
All right.
Anyway, move on.
Okay. I think you guys mentioned this last week. I was away. The MVP Open. Wow, my gain was high in my ears. Gold ticket giveaway is a thing again. We did this last year. Remember Ganon Burr, James? Remember? We gave it away, Ben. We met him. We all went out and played with him, right? You guys remember that?
James.
The winner.
Oh, James. Yes. James. I thought you were talking about James Conrad for some reason.
Yeah, no. Sorry. I just call him by first name now, because I don't want to give away his last name if he doesn't want to be known. But it was a great time. He had a great experience. Came out from Texas. We're giving away another ticket. It's $1,000 value. It's actually more than a ticket. I'm going to explain. You guys explained last week what it was? I'll do the quick version.
Yeah, I explained everything. We still have not confirmed exactly how we want you all to promote the show, but yeah, you can run through it again. It's pretty awesome.
We're going to get to that, because right now it doesn't matter. We're going to probably do a quick giveaway at some point here, but we want to promote this. There's no more of these tickets left, number one. So here's some of the things you get to do in addition to the 4 days of the tournament, with access to the course designers, event organizers, concierge, candlepin bowling with the pros. That is incredible. How do I find my way there? A brewery tour and tasting, night golf with a touring pro, play Maple Hill in a tournament mode, meaning it's all going to be set up and dressed up, and so much more. So you're going to get access to all of this. But let me go ahead and talk through this version of our discussion on MVP Open this year. The East Coast Metal Roofing $20,000 giveaway is back at the MVP Open by OTB. If you want to watch the best players in the world claim their share of $20,000 and possibly earn yourself $1,000 yourself. So you can win this $1,000 ticket from us, find yourself at the OTB or the East Coast Metal Roofing $20,000 giveaway, and you can earn $1,000 for yourself. This is the most exciting ace contest in disc golf. I don't know, that first year, $1 million, that was pretty exciting, although it was really far. But the ace contest this one is 480 feet, so very doable. To the short basket just over the pond from the hallowed gold tee on hole 1 at Maple Hill. If I was going to watch any one day, I might pick Friday because the top players are already shuffled and you get to watch them give away $20,000 and then go play night golf and relive the whole amazing day. So guys, we're going to give away one of these gold tickets. In the transition of me moving, I haven't thought about how we're going to do it. Should we put it all on Ben? He has to figure it out. I think we kind of did already.
One of them is, and it might only be this, is to subscribe. Like we see bottom right corner, David McCormick subscribed, who is the owner of Gateway, by the way.
I know.
So,
At least we assume
Thanks,
that
Dave.
David McCormick.
He needs a gold ticket. But Ben, then we can't just pick from everybody because we could. But how do we contact them?
Anyone who has subscribed from the last episode until when we announce it, that is one of the requirements. So it's new subscribers. If you
can you confirm that, Ben?
Subscribe again.
Do you know how to confirm that they've subscribed recently?
Yeah, well, their account would have to be public, as in like
there's criteria.
So it's basically like you just make your subscriptions known. Like on my channel, I don't have my subscriptions made public, but that's because I post a bunch of stuff on it. But on my personal, like one that I don't post on, I have him. So that would be, and you can't resubscribe, like unsubscribe and resubscribe because we can tell that. So it'd be anyone who was subscribed from last episode until whenever we announce. That's one of the criteria.
How about we change it all together?
Long-time hardcore listeners, they're out.
Well, listen. No, listen. I was just going to say, here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking. You guys can vote on this. Evan, you're quiet, so I'm going to take your word worth more now because you haven't said much recently. What if we did a link in our podcast, so whether you're YouTube, wherever, right? A link where if you want the ticket, this is going to get a little crazy. You sign up on Pop Drop Lock. Okay, so you have to have a username and Pop Drop Lock. Just go in there. It's easy. You just put in your email and your name, and it gives you a username. This is where I'm like, maybe a little confusing. Take your username and submit it in the link we make available so we know you want to play it. Then we do Pop Drop Lock. We pick the week, whether it's Worlds or whatever. And whoever wins, it's literally all on the line. No, like nothing held back. Whoever wins that week that wanted to play for it gets to have it. Does that sound cool?
I like that.
It's a straight up competition.
That's pretty wild.
And it lets anybody. It lets anybody
you
play.
Have to be subscribed.
Well, okay, you'd have to prove that you were subscribed. Sure.
Can you describe how they say they want to play other than doing Pop Drop Lock? That didn't make sense to me.
So like they just have to have a Pop Drop Lock username, and then I'm going to put a link in our podcast. So the link will be in our podcast, whatever episode we say we're doing it for. And all they'll do is just submit their username there. That way I can look and see who had the highest on any given week. So I don't want it to just be everybody that's playing Pop Drop Lock. It's only those who want to play for this ticket. So I just need them to like sign up.
As like supporters of the show specifically?
Yeah, just like I just want them to sign up and say, hey, I want to play for that ticket, as opposed to just anyone who's playing Pop Drop Lock. That way, if there's only 10 people who want the ticket, they just sign up and say, I'm playing for the ticket this week. And it's free to do, but you just got to let us know. What do you think?
Okay, but you don't want it to just be whoever wins Pop Drop Lock for that week, not anybody.
Right, because they maybe
we email them with a giveaway.
They might live in Australia and they're like, I can't come. I guess you could just go down the line, but it could take forever to reach out to them too.
Okay.
I'm just saying I want it to be
I think
people
just gotta
that
be
want
clear
to
with that
play
extra
with it.
step.
Yeah, it's just people that want to play. You have to sign up on a link we provide that says, this is my username for Pop Drop Lock, and I want to play for the ticket. That's all. It's not this week. You're not going to find the link in there this week. But I'm thinking we'll do that in the next week or two. We'll make this information known. Anybody that wants, you're going to have to prove that you subscribe. Well, yeah. Maybe I'll make a link for that, Ben, that says tell us like your username or upload a screenshot or something. But
yeah, I think subscribing as they enter the competition is good.
Yeah.
I don't know. This
come back
idea's
to it.
got legs, Matt. It's got legs.
I think having people compete for it, man, maybe I win the ticket. No. And Ben, people are asking what's on your forehead. How much did you pay to get that advertising on there?
I didn't pay. Someone paid me a lot. No, I'm just kidding. It's Jesse from Trash Pundit. We had him on our podcast today, and this is his logo. He just released this Extraterrestrial 2. And I put it on my forehead and revealed it mid podcast, and he was cracking up. So I thought I'd do the same here.
You reveal it here. There used to be.
And after this, I'm wiping it off.
Did Paul Macbeth do Adidas into his hair one of these seasons? Do you remember that? He had Adidas. I thought it was Adidas. Nick would be here to tell me if I was wrong, or Paul.
If any other company wants to, pay me for a forehead tattoo, I'll wear anything.
All right. As we get ready, still a ways out here, probably 20 minutes or so until we have Holland on and then Gannon following that. Let's go ahead and jump into, if you're okay with this, guys, Pop Drop Lock. I think we should go ahead and
Our
reveal.
picks?
Yeah. Did you submit your picks, Ben?
No, I did but I'll do it in a Dropbox right now. I was just waiting.
Do it, because I'm going to pull them up right now. All right, here we go, everybody. Pop, drop, lock.
Pop, lock, drop. Yep.
All right, everybody. This week, actually, we're going to reveal last week, right? So, Ledgestone
We
Open.
can skip that.
Let's just take a quick gander here. We'll just put Nick up. I don't know the order. Actually, it's Evan first.
Yep.
11 points.
Thanks.
You're not minus points, though. Good job.
Yeah, I had positive for my own pick, so it's just who'd you pick as your pop? Who did fantastic? That we'll get to in a second, but
Yeah, Raven Newsom.
Yeah.
All right, I think
my own
it's
doing. That's okay.
I think it's Nick, 22 points. So he doubled up on you. I believe it's Josh next at 26 points. It's getting harder to get points when you go back to this average performance. Then myself at 48. I'm pretty happy with that. Raven Newsom was my bigger pick there. And Ben, you had a solid pick as well. Who was your big pick, or was it just right across the board?
My big pick was Clay Edwards. He gave me 45 points, pop. And the one time I don't pick Luke Humphries to drop, he gives a whopping 77 points, which was insane. So, that was a blunder on my end.
If you picked Adam Hammis, I told Evan this right before the show, and everybody else got 0. I better double check this stat before I say it. But if you picked Adam Hammis and everyone else got you 0 points, you would have scored. I just double check here. You would have won. Adam Hammis dropped 125 or 6 points compared to average. Nobody picked him. If you had picked Adam Hammis and zeroed out everybody else, you won that week. But no, nobody picked him to pop or drop.
Oof.
You know what's crazy is so Ben, you have picked Luke Humphries 6 times this season. Guess how many points he's gotten you total, like on your running leaderboard?
Say it again.
You've picked him 6 times. So if you add up all the points he's giving you all year, he's given you 77 points. Guess what he got this week?
Yeah, I know.
77 points.
I was beating
what is the
myself
chance of
up.
that? Hey,
I've been messing up on I've been blundering. It's because we did 3 ratings in a row, and I was like, who am I going to pick to drop? And I just forgot about my boy Luke Humphries. I just forgot. And by the way, Luke, if you're listening to this, big fan. It's just the game. You're averaging insane 28th, and I just I try my
Well,
luck.
here, all right. So
Hope you drop.
changing away from Luke Humphreys, we can come back to that. But like, also, guess who out of all of us who play on the show, all 5 hosts, there's one particular player who's given the most points to any one of us. Like, so they're like, if I sorted every single player that's picked on our show
By pop, drop, and lock.
Madison
yeah,
Walker.
combined?
Come on now.
Just
combined.
total cumulative
Yeah,
points.
yeah, exactly. Like this player picked, regardless of which slot, like they're the player who has given the most points to a show host.
Oh,
Let it be
baby.
That's so tough.
Oh, but it has
I
to be
can just
given
tell
to a
you.
show host, right? Not just
Yeah,
any
yeah.
player.
I'm just looking at the 5 of us, just like
no
people
idea off
we
the
have
top of
picked.
my head.
All right, you ready for
Anthony
this? It's a
Barilla.
tie. They're both Ben's picks, and they're Madison Walker and Drew Gibson.
Wow.
Now, by the way, to be clear, he has picked Madison Walker 10 times,
Yeah.
and
The power
nobody
of
else has picked a player
accumulation.
anywhere near the same amount.
Let's go.
That's some great data there, Josh. Thanks for sharing. But as much as it pains me to say, Ben, you're doing a good job with this. And 77 points from 6 picks of a drop. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
So-
But
what's
I could have
funny?
had it in
well,
one
no,
if I
happy
picked
Just to
it.
be
Oh, happy
clear, what's funny, and this is
That'll do, my
obvious, we
friends.
all know why if you listen to the show, is of course Evan. Madison Walker is also your most frequent pick.
Oh, no.
But you've
because
only picked her 9 times and you've lost 86 points.
but that's because
my
that's
God.
because
Let's
he
go,
took it. Yeah.
Madison.
yes, it's because he's
Thank
defaulted to
you.
it. Clearly, that's
Okay.
kind of what makes
Yeah.
it funny to
And,
me.
and for the record, I picked Madison Walker as a pop a few times as well because I've
Yes,
stopped
that's
doing
why
Ben's
it's
pops
9
for a bit.
times. Yeah, exactly. And that's
Yeah.
why, 106. Anyway, random stats from Staggered Stance, prop, drop, block. Here's the real point is everybody listening, honestly, you don't have to play like us, but just play. It's fun. There's going to be some time you're sitting around instead of scrolling social media, take 3 minutes, hop in there, do some picks. There's nothing really at stake except for having fun the next tournament you watch because you'll have a slightly different angle, much like fantasy, just to like watch something and root for something in addition to the core sport and then get some friends involved. Hey, consider us your friends if you want, right? Get out there and play. It's easy, it's cheap, and it's been fun.
And if you came for the first iteration, it was, Raw Bones and Shrek was working on things for us overnight after his regular job. But now it shows you average placements. You can just kind of sit in the app and just pick. All right, here we go. With that being said, I think I saw Nick's picks come in earlier today. I didn't see them, but my phone tells me when Dropbox updates. Let's see. Aiden Scott, pop. Ezra Robinson, drop. Now, to be clear, this is Idlewild. He's picking Ezra Robinson to drop at Idlewild. Matteo Lock.
LWS.
Yeah, LWS. What did I call it? Idlewild?
Yeah, it is at Idlewild.
LWS at Idlewild. So Matty O, he's picking the lock there. I wouldn't fault anybody for picking Matty O there. I didn't
Played
pick
there
him.
well last year.
Yeah. All right. He's picking Hannah Wynn to pop. I think she plays pretty good there, if I remember. I was looking over stats. Natalie Ryan drop at LWS at Idlewild, and then lock Valerie. Now, I could not bring myself to pick Valerie. We'll talk about mine now. I couldn't bring myself to pick Valerie, even though I think she's like a fair pick. I just
Yeah, who
couldn't
won
do
there
it with her
last year?
season. Yeah, I just couldn't do it with her season. And I don't
Valerie
think
won
she's
last year. No,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with your comments. I'm just saying, like,
I just don't see
that's,
back to back this season for her, like compared to last year to now. And all right, here's my picks. Pop James Conrad. We don't see a lot of him. He's got big potential here. He is the putter thrower of this course. I've played this course. If I can score decent, he can score decent. And he's going to do it way better than me on that course. Joel Freeman. Drop. That guy, by the way, just my commentary on him. He's gone like radio silent after like so much like commotion, it felt like, through portion of the last, half of last year. Just his comments, all that. I don't know what changed for him. We'll have to do a follow-up at some point.
He had a kid.
Yeah, he's averaging like okay. But he was doing better, I feel like, last year at points. So we'll see. I pick him to drop. Ganon Burr to lock. That would be a back-to-back-to-back, as in he won here last year and he just won last week.
It'd be like an L-shaped back.
Yeah, there you go. Back-to-back to year.
Like back-to-back this way and then
Yes.
back-to-back this way.
Exactly. So I don't know. We'll see. And then pop for FPO, I'm picking Vanessa Van Dyken. That is a sleeper pick, my friends. If this happens and she somehow pops off 20 points for me, I'll feel great. I investigated. She's done well here back-to-back years. I think she feels good here. I don't know that, but she doesn't average that well usually, so I'm hoping for a pop-off here. This is why I'm picking her. So watch for Vanessa Van Dyken. Elizra Middling. This is my back-to-back week of picking her to drop. It's probably a mistake again, because last week it was a mistake. I don't know. She's a great player. I'm playing the odds here, and I'm just expecting that she's going to do well, but I'm hoping that I get points somehow. Lock Missy Gannon. I only picked her, I think, twice this season, so this is my third, if I'm not mistaken. Missy Gannon is a lock here. This would be a back-to-back for her. So then it's what? How many back-to-backs is this? No, she didn't win last year, did she? Second.
Nope. Not last year?
Yeah, did she get
last
second?
year she was fourth
Valerie
place at
Mendoza.
this event.
Okay, fourth. Okay. Well, I'm picking her to win. All right,
She was
Ben.
10 strokes. She was 9 strokes behind Valerie last year.
All right, come on, Missy. Ben, you're up.
All right, I just got to keep the lead from here on out.
Luke.
I'm going Pop, Kevin Jones, going back to Luke. Again, Luke, I love you. Just, you know, just part of the game. Lock, I'm going Isaac Robinson. Sneaky pick there. Not really, but sort of sneaky. I feel like no one's picked him ever. Pop, I'm going my tried and true Madison Walker. She's going to dominate. Shout out. Drop, I'm going HOLYN HANDLEY. In lock, I'm going Own Scoggins.
Not
Yeah.
bad. Not bad. And if I'm not
Gotta
mistaken,
hold the lead.
we have no crossover picks there, Ben. So
I know
there's a
that
chance.
stinks.
It stinks?
That stinks.
No, it
I
doesn't.
like when you cross over. That means
Safety.
Yeah, safety.
All right.
I'm about safety in this game.
Josh, you're up.
Well, Ben and I have half of our picks overlap.
Wow.
Kevin Jones, Pop. Anthony Barella to drop. Kyle Klein to lock. So just, I don't know, been playing well. And on FPO, I've got Cynthia Ricciardi to pop and to drop HOLYN HANDLEY. And the truth is, like, she's averaging like 5th. So like the most I can lose is like 5 points.
Now you're thinking, Josh.
Well, I'm always
Now
thinking.
you're thinking.
Everybody knows that. And Owen Scoggins.
Everybody knows that. That was funny to me. I don't know why. Everyone knows that, Ben. All right, here we go. Evan, your picks, half of them were made for you, but what do you go? Oh,
Yeah.
Pop's
Oh,
good
no,
one.
half a third.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, oh man, I had like the debate within my head back and forth between Kevin Jones and Nico LaCastro
Yep.
for MPO Pop.
Yep.
And I went Nico, like I could not choose. I really could not. Like Kevin Jones is such a good pop pick here. He 5 straight times playing this event with a top 15 finish, 7th last year, 1st in 2019. But Nico LaCastro has a pretty good track record too. I think it was top 10 last year, a lot of top 30s, not quite as like stellar as Kevin Jones, and their averages are pretty much the exact same. But I don't know, something was just calling me just a little bit more to Nico LaCastro, so I went with him. I picked Kevin Jones at least once or twice as pop this year already, so I wanted to go a new pick. Really all it was. FPO Pop, Madison Walker. And this is not for the Ben strategy of high average finish. It's truly she pops off here. And Ben, I think you probably knew that too. So I'm not taking away that skill. But she's played good here. I know I just said that and that's kind of redundant.
But he's
But-
played
yeah, she played good here. 4th last year, 6th in 2022. 11th is our worst finish ever at this event, and it was in 2021. 11th is our worst finish. That's 23 points right now. She has her worst ever finish. So she definitely likes this course. I mean, we know it's wooded. Different style. It's a course we played many years. Madison knows it very well. I think she's a great pick. And then locks, man, Calvin Heimberg, which might be my final time picking him. I've gotten pretty high with him, but then Owen Scoggins, I think, is definitely my final time picking her. Just went to 2 good locks. I mean, Ganon Burr is hard not to pick right now. I've only picked him once on the year, which is awful from the number 1 player.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna I'm gonna just go to town, picking Ganon Burr. Definitely picking him for Worlds. Spoiler alert, and then maybe a few others. So we'll see. Kind of want to save those. And Calvin Heimberger, just I don't believe in the back to back L shape. I think it's hard to do, even though he's probably the best odds. So Calvin Heimberg, equally good odds, and has never won at this course, which feels crazy.
No, because Calvin doesn't win very much. That's not that crazy.
He wins a lot. 11 Major League Series wins in his career. So.
Gannon almost did it in one season
for Calvin.
This is my last pick for Calvin.
Yep.
It's your and then last for own.
No, fourth pick for own.
Oh, okay. I mean, sounds good. I got a lot of Kristen Tatars left to pick too. So
me too.
Here's why I couldn't pick Kevin Jones to pop. No hard and fast. It's a feeling. But he just switched to Innova. It took him a little bit to get ramped up. I know that first week we were like, ooh, look, he did decent. Then he went back, and then he had a great week, obviously, this last one. But here's my thought, is like, it's easier to figure out your disc in more open spaces. Now, you might say Eureka's not that open. It's arguably open.
It's a landing zone course. It's not a airspace course.
And I'm not convinced he's settled in fully, but maybe he is. Maybe he's always thrown the rocks and all those Innova discs through the woods well. Maybe he is, and he's just going to show me he's all dialed in with those new discs. But that was kind of my feeling. I'm like, it's a lot more.
Show you.
It's a lot more lines. You remember the Kevin Jones tree? What is it? Like hole 9, 12? It's somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It's called the Kevin Jones tree. Because he hits it.
Because he's always on lead cards and people see
not
him
anymore.
See him play it.
Not after this year.
All right.
Well,
but anyways, it's a good pick.
I'm also,
and so is Nico.
From a game standpoint, he's averaged 48th. So I just need him to be like, okay. Anyway, go ahead, Evan.
Yeah, I'm actually really thankful Matt did not pick Kevin Jones. I was a little bit worried about that. Not that I'm like stoked to have James Conrad, who I feel could also do well here, but I don't know. I would be scareder to see Kevin Jones as my drop.
And Nico is a good pop pick, Evan. Like, I was totally dabbling in that, and I was just like, Nico or James Conrad. Nico, James Conrad.
Yeah, they're all in the high 40s. 48 for
and they
Conrad, 49 for
these
48, I think, for Jones.
Yeah, we're all coming into the same idea because Nico typically plays decent here. It looks like, or at least he's done it a few times. Same for James Conrad, same for Kevin Jones, and this is their pop-off course. And I think when you see courses like this, Idlewild specifically, it's a unique course, maybe even like an MVP Open or other courses that are kind of more unique to how they play. Waco, that's where you're going to find your pop players. You might find your drop players, but you're going to find these little, like, I think Katrina used to call it her honey hole. It was like this is the course where I can go in and win. But that was like A tiers.
That was her trying to find good fields to win money.
Yeah, that's right.
I get your point, though. I don't want to take away your point.
There were A tiers where she could go in and win. But my point is, pick these courses where players can pop off easily. All right. Thanks to Hooligan Discs. They sponsor this episode every single event, and they've been shipping out prizes every single event. International, Canada. We just had a Canadian winner. We've shipped to Europe. US, all around the world. So thank you to Hooligan very much for sponsoring this episode.
And sponsoring me. They're the best. Go pick up a 2-year cash. It's the best disc.
Do you get $100 bills with your order?
No.
Oh, you give them out though.
Yeah, no. I need to deposit this $100 bill. I'm not trying to. It was just in my phone. I had to. It was just in my phone. I haven't deposited it. Yeah, and I realized I shouldn't have said that. So if you see me on the street, it's already deposited. Okay, by the time you see this.
All right, we're about 13 minutes. These are late interviews tonight. We appreciate the players making the time in their evening to do this, especially traveling wherever they're going to the next courses. But Holland will be up in about 13 minutes or so. If you stick around for that. If you've skipped to this point, you got to skip 13 minutes further forward. You'll find the HOLYN HANDLEY interview and then Gannon shortly after that. As we continue on with the show, I think we could do a little bit of Worlds talk here. And this wasn't actually prepped much for anybody. I'm curious. Does anybody have any feelings? There's conversation about Paul Macbeth every Worlds. like more or less since I started playing disc golf. Maybe not that far, but like it's his to win or to lose. People are saying he's going back to where he lived for a while. It's a course he helped.
The course he designed.
Yeah, I mean, at least in large part. Designing a course. Yeah, so I mean, there's the Paul talk. Gannon hasn't even seen the course when I asked him last about this. Great player. You have a lot of great players. Does anybody feel like a shoo-in? Do you feel like you have any takes on this? And then when it comes to FPO, imagine Paige Pierce actually starting to make this push. She made a social media post that said, more or less, I'm going to a hard grind until Worlds. All my focus is on Worlds right now. I'm sick of like not podium or anything else. I want to win. I don't know if you can talk yourself into a win, but she's motivated and it's possible. It is possible. And then you have Kristen, Holland, Owen, Missy, Evelina. I'm probably leaving out a few FPOs who could sneak in there. I wouldn't be that surprised to see like Cat Merch win or something. It'd be epic. But
I'd be surprised.
Hannah Blomroos, maybe, Ben, you can make your money back.
Oh, if Hannah Blomroos wins, you have to give me 40 just on principle.
She won Worlds.
Just on straight.
If you want to do the double or nothing, I'll take a $40 bet if she doesn't win, though. If I'll do it for Worlds.
No, her versus the field, that's crazy.
I don't know. You said
Double
40.
or nothing.
You said 40, dude.
Oh yeah, I'll do double or nothing. That means if she wins, I get 40. If she doesn't, I don't get any money, and you don't get any money.
No, you usually do that after you like one step one, so then you make a new step two.
Yeah,
doesn't apply here. That
yeah, I'll do it, Matt. You
just want to double
the 40
bet.
if I win, and then if she doesn't win, nothing. That's the double or nothing. It's just you're just putting.
You just wanted to double it, Matt.
Yeah, just double it. If she doesn't win, or you get nothing.
No. We'll stick with our $20 one.
Because she's not going to win Worlds.
Man. Once we get over,
he has the most bets. He has the most bets in our show.
The $21 threshold. Once you get over $20, that's when it becomes a problem. And,
you're not a gambling man, and I missed it. But congrats on your engagement. Did you guys talk about this last week? A little bit.
We did a little bit.
All right. Well, congratulations on that.
Do you want to talk about it more, Ben?
Is that like?
I actually do.
What a segue
because
from being like a gambling man. Like gambling. Congrats on your engagement.
Engaging.
It was single-handedly.
Gambling.
It was single-handedly.
It's the biggest gamble of your life, Ben.
It was single-handedly. When I posted that picture, it was single-handedly the most unfollowed I ever got on Instagram. It was like 50 people unfollowed me. Sorry, ladies, I'm off the market. I know it offended you, but it's okay. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I was wondering where this was going when you said you were unfollowed. I'm like, what?
No, I just thought it was crazy. Obviously, it probably wasn't just ladies or anything. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah. You should have made it like Marty. Like
everyone knows that, Ben. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, the first one to make a putt in New York City gets a ring. And then, what do you know? There's only one contestant as soon as you start watching the video, and it's your now fiance.
Yeah. The reason I did Rockefeller, I'll go further on the story. Dude, overthrow on Paul. That stinks. Sorry, I'm off the market, Josh. Anyways, my parents got engaged in Rockefeller Center, and I asked her to be my girlfriend in Rockefeller Center. So
very cool.
Congratulations. That's why Rockefeller Center. And yeah.
So a few things. I don't know if I'll disclose what you told me, unless you're okay with it, about someone beating me. Did you remember that text you did after you got engaged?
Talking to me?
Yeah. I don't know if you want me to say it publicly. It's probably fine. About Hunter.
Someone beating you?
Yeah, about Hunter and my own kid.
Fine.
It's fine? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Ben goes, now I can conjure up my own child or son so that they can become a 12-year-old and beat Hunter, so he knows what it feels like to be beaten by a 12-year-old. It was just, it just struck me as hilarious the way you said it. I was literally laughing so hard.
He'll be the same age. Hunter will be the same age as me when he beat me at Meadowbrook this past.
Yeah, unless Hunter's like 1040 by the time.
Yeah, it's true.
Your future kid is
Yeah,
12.
you never know.
But either way,
No,
it was
you never
hilarious. If you have kids,
27-year-old Hunter, just 3-time world champ.
With ratings inflations, he'll be at least 1070.
Yeah, so there's that. The other thing I wanted to mention now, again, congratulations, Ben. That's super cool.
Thank you.
And Liv or Livy or Olivia, whatever you call her, is extremely.
I call
cool
her
as well.
Liver. That's my
She's your
pet
liver.
name for her. Yeah, Liver.
She's extremely cool as well. So you guys will be great together. Perfect. All right. Overthrow in the chat said Dickerson is his sleeper, and I think talking maybe for Worlds, that might have been for LWS at Idlewild, but I know he followed it up.
For Worlds.
Yeah, he followed it up
said-
with his Worlds lead card, which includes Dickerson. I think that's a great pick, and that is somebody who has not gotten almost any talk this year yet. Yeah, I mean,
He's
really.
Maybe not. Yeah,
Well,
maybe. Yeah,
recently, though.
not a lot, but like I also, what qualifies as sleeper?
Yeah,
He's
I feel
not
like
getting talked about. He's really
for
not getting
sleeper
talked about.
winner, I think Dickerson qualifies as a sleeper. Maybe not sleeper.
Yeah, I mean,
You're right.
okay, so like, so just so we're clear, he's averaging
10.
in the top 10.
Yeah. But it's not actually like sleeper is like people aren't talking about him.
That's what I'm saying.
And I feel like that's kind of true. I mean,
He's not being talked about.
he's just not being talked about as good as his season is. His season is,
That's because he's played half
hard
the
to say
events.
top five.
or he's
You
played,
know,
like,
he's
2/3 of the events.
averaging,
but so consistent.
he's third when it comes to best average finishes this year, I think. I think it's third.
Yeah, he's also only played 10 events.
That's part of it.
That's a lot of events.
So all I'm saying
everybody
is
else has played 1.5 times the amount as him.
all I'm saying is that is Dickerson in the woods in Virginia sounds right. I would agree.
I'm not,
Lead card.
I'm not
Lead card.
disagreeing, but like, boy, I agree with everything that's said. Maybe I just think sleeper's like a little bit more buried down the line. Like he's a past major winner. Like all of those things to me is just kind of like, I don't know. Like he's
Sleeper is
unlikely.
if nobody's picking him. Let's say you had 1,000 people picking and like 8 people picked him. That would be a sleeper. You'd be like, man, nobody's picking him. That's how I see it.
Like Clay Edwards, my pick last week, he was a sleeper pick, in my opinion.
I don't know. That doesn't sound right to me though, because that doesn't sound sleeper. That sounds like dark horse, like as in nobody's gonna pick
so
him.
are you saying sleeper as in like they're gonna
Don't
perform
sleep
well
on
and
him.
potentially
Yeah,
win?
yeah. Like don't sleep on
Yeah,
him.
so
Like
Clay obviously wasn't gonna win, but I think
All right, then
People
I'm
are
fine.
sleeping
Then
on
I'm
him.
fine with Dickerson. This is why I asked what is the definition of sleeper. So like, all right,
Yeah.
we hashed it out, and I'm good with that. Dickerson definitely would be a sleeper, but like, there's probably so who else would you put on the sleeper list then? Right, like,
The sleeper list, it's like for winner, it's someone who like feels tangible prediction. Like all the respect to Clay Edwards, who's a great player who's rising the ranks. I feel like to call him a sleeper winner pick would maybe be a little bit of a stretch.
No,
like
I wouldn't say
sure he
winner.
totally could. I'm not saying you did. I was just using that name. But like if you were like Gannon, I think Gannon, Ricky, I mean even Paul, just because of his world's history, were to win. I don't think you could call that a sleeper pick because people are talking about Anthony Burrell is in that category as well. But like I feel like Ezra Robinson has gotten more notoriety this year. He hasn't won yet or in his career at this level. Like Kyle Klein's having a great season, but I feel like he's been talked about more than Chris Dickerson. Nicholas Antila definitely has. So like, and if I didn't mention Calvin Heimer, then him too. All of those you're going to have talked about more than Chris Dickerson.
what about
who-
Yakub? That dude is like literally.
He's
Is
the
that dark
definition
horse
of sleeper.
or sleeper?
No, I think he's sleeper. He's been playing insane.
all right,
this
so the way
year-
I'm thinking about it though is like sleeper is somebody who's like, it's not an outrageous pick,
yeah,
but he's just not the one people are talking about.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why it's like, yeah, don't sleep on him. Like everybody knows that this person could win, but for some reason we're forgetting, right, in the conversation. Like somebody like Yakub's like further down than a sleeper.
Yeah, and I feel like it's just a conversation of like winner pick compared to like when pop drop lock is not necessarily winner. It's you're getting points for a podium or top 10 or top 5 or top 10. I forget exactly what it is. Should know that. But I will have some weeks where I'm like, I don't think this person's going to win, but I do feel confident they're going to have a top 10 finish. And I feel like Jakub Semerad should definitely be on people's radars to get a top 10 at Worlds or really any event. But to win, that's a whole nother level to then pick that player to do that, where Chris Dickerson feels a completely tangible Worlds winner.
What about James Conrad winning another Worlds in the woods of Virginia?
That'd be pretty
That'd be
great.
awesome.
Especially
That'd be
with the
insane.
season he's having. He just plops it off again and never wins again, but he just wins Worlds. That's his thing. I don't know. That's maybe
Yeah.
that's
Here's a good example. Here's
dark
here's a
horse.
good example of a sleeper. Corey Ellis last year when he won European Open.
Sure.
That was a
Okay, I don't so maybe I'm going back to the definition of sleeper. This is my opinion. There's no way Corey Ellis was a sleeper when he won European Open.
You think he was more talked about or
Not talked about at all. Nobody.
So you
thought
felt more
Corey
like
Ellis
dark
was-
Well,
That's
he
not
came, up,
true.
he came up short.
at
Like,
MVP Open
twice.
and D-Glow.
Yeah, he
Like,
was
he was right
on
there.
the verge. Yeah.
Okay, so
that's
how many
why.
people picked Corey Ellis to even think about Corey Ellis has a legit shot to win the European Open? No one except Corey
Our
Ellis.
sleeper
okay,
definition
okay.
is skewed. We have
I'm thinking a
multiple
little bit more season wide.
Daniel
Corey
from
Ellis-
Texas. Thank you.
On that.
People were like, when is Corey Ellis going to win? People were saying that. He had all the skills.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily we picked out European Open and we're like, this is the one he could win. That's a little bit of a stretch. But he was knocking on the door for so long that when he won, it didn't feel I don't know, it was the
Out of this world. It wasn't
flukiest
like
winner ever. I don't know. Winners aren't fluky, but still.
Okay,
We just
I
have
did
to
a
come up
quick
with a
Google.
name. There's a different classification.
I did
of
a quick
that.
Google define sleeper. Everything comes up for fantasy football, but one of them is not.
That's
more
where it comes from.
Yeah, more generic. A sleeper is any venture that is not expected to do well but succeeds in defiance of expectations. If you go back towards the football definition in that sense, a sleeper pick is a player who is not valued properly in the community and is expected to outperform their draft spot. So it's kind of like our game pop, drop, lock. It's kind of saying, hey, he's averaging 20th, but we know he's way better than that.
Your pop pick is
A
you
sleeper.
try to nail a sleeper. Your
Okay.
Pop pick.
Yeah.
All right,
I
let's
feel like
move
that's
on.
Very accurate.
That was good. That was a good way to wrap it up. Daniel
love
from
that.
Texas said that sounds like a replay of the clutch argument. Thank you for listening every week, Daniel, to even know
He's
that.
not wrong.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah, but these arguments are important. Come on, everybody knows that.
It's my
Everybody
staggered
knows that.
stance, and it's correct, and no one's staggered stance is it right.
Okay.
Or I don't know.
Holland is incredibly gracious to come on our show tonight. Things like literally texting me, hey, we're having some trouble leveling. This is tour life, not the show tour life, but this is the life on tour. They have to level out their vans or RVs or whatever, but they're hopefully still on track to be here on time. So it could be any minute. In fact, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Nope, not in the green room yet. So any minute. So Worlds, when it comes to FPO, we kind of breezed by that. I mentioned some names. In the woods, I feel like it's got to be Kristen. I feel like she's the
I
most
think everyone's
consistent
going
player.
Kristen.
Well, I don't know if I pick Kristen if we're on an open course. If we're playing, I don't know. Let me pick a course.
I think I actually even disagree with that statement. I'd
more?
pick her more if it was an open course. I
just feel like she's so consistent that she's not going to dink and dunk off of every tree. That's kind of how I see it. But
yeah, I mean, she won it. She completed the Grand Slam, but U.S. Women's last year, she had a lot of struggling off the tee.
true at the
Was
last
able to
round.
scramble and keep her scores limited, stay in the race, and then take advantage when she needed to. So all the credit to her, and she went out. And
All right,
won.
then let me ask the question: Kristen Tatar or the field? I'm taking
Tatar.
the field. I know I just said the opposite, but I feel like if you say anybody else or Kristen, I'm going to say it's the field.
All right, $20. Come on.
Okay, $20. We're gonna well, no, we don't have to undo that other bet. It'll just either I get 40 or you get none.
Correct.
All
yeah,
right, that's how it works now. Double or nothing now.
There we go. I'll take Kristen all the way for $20.
Or the field. So I'm taking the field. Josh, write this down.
All right, yeah. I'll put it
And
in.
by the way,
Ben-
everyone, I'm not a gambler.
Yeah,
Your new name is Ben ? Quote, I'm not a gambler. Kenny.
That's what most hardcore gambling addicts say. So.
I don't have a problem. That's funny.
Maybe we should start playing
I don't
with,
have
like,
a problem.
fake
Want to
money.
bet?
Hey, you won't find
one
a
chip
gambling
just went
app
away.
on my phone. So there you go. You can. There's my validity. I'm not a gambler. I maybe go to the casino once a year and I lose every time. Like
Hundreds?
the $20 I join with, and it's not worth it. And please don't gamble. You will lose every time. It's literally the worst thing ever.
That was a message from Ben Kenny, everybody.
Thank you.
Westy Acres.
are we taking that bet?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I already thought.
I'm shaking with my left hand. Doesn't count. No, I'm kidding.
Kristen
Westy
wins world.
Acres does. Why does Matt hate KT? You know, it's for the fun of the show. The reality is, I am a betting person, and I feel like taking the field. It's a 5-round event. I know you could say that's in favor of Kristen, but what I just saw at the European Disc Golf Festival, I wasn't here to talk about it. I don't know how much you guys talked about it. It seemed to me, I probably just make things up in my head, and I was like, yes, Matt, we know you do. But I probably, when I saw this was a big festival, it had this kind of light kind of feel to it, cheering, celebration. You could hear as she's out on the course playing, cheering, and festival like happiness going on around. I think she had a hard time focusing, and she has to be totally locked in. Will she do it for Worlds? Maybe the courses are more conducive to that, but we'll see. Yeah, I actually like Kristen.
Matt, you mentioned a 5-round tournament, and I can't believe I didn't mention this earlier with the stat recap. 4-round tournaments. There have been 5 so far in MPO for Major Elite events. Do you know how many of those Ganon Burr has won?
5-round events?
5 4-round events. I know that's confusing to
sorry.
say. There's been 5 occurrences of a 4-round MPO Major or Elite Series event. How many has Ganon Burr won? Yeah, I mean, Ben and Josh are answering it, so I'm going to go right to it, Matt. You don't need to guess. 4 out of 5 is correct. The only one he hasn't won was PDJ Champions Cup, which went to Prez. They would be, can I do this? Waco, Portland Open, European Open, and now the one we just had, Ledgestone. Oh, my goodness. So that's crazy. Sure, maybe it's the courses that we're seeing for 4-round tournaments, but it's also, more rounds, the cream rises to the top. So Worlds obviously being 5 rounds. I don't know. I feel like Ganon Burr feels like a good pick. I mean, I also very heavily lean towards Kristen Tatar as the favorite, just with her track record, of course, and more rounds, as you're saying. But I think it's a really interesting note for Ganon Burr as we gear up towards Worlds.
Good. We're going to fit 2 interviews into the last 30 minutes of our show, one way or another. We'll have Holland interview Gannon for us. No, we actually have a little game scheduled to play with Gannon when he comes on, and when Holland comes in here, we want to talk to her obviously about her great season. If anything feels like it's changed and where she's at coming into these next set of events. She should be on soon, but I can imagine we aren't the first priority when she's setting up her van or RV. But she's been keeping me in the loop. So,
all right, so. Where does Holland, it's interesting, right? So she takes a stretch, and maybe we can ask her about this. A stretch off, right? While everybody else is in Europe. And by the way, not everybody else. There were other FPO players who stayed here in the stateside. But I don't believe Holland played even one event, at least not a PDGA sanctioned event, right? During that stretch. And then she comes out and wins. And I talked about earlier, the season. So we're all debating Kristen Tatar for good reason, but is Holland a sleeper pick for Worlds?
It's a little harder because she just won. I think, meaning it's harder to call it sleeper. That's all. We don't need to go back on the definition.
No, I don't have to.
Do you think she's undervalued according to what she's going to perform at? And that's the hard part. Are people undervalued?
I guess the hard part is it depends where you value. And that's for me, I'm I think I value her high. So it's to me, she's not a sleeper pick. And I'm she is she has, I would put her just in that second tier, even with Missy Gannon and maybe Evelina, depending how she's putting, right? And right now Holland is right there and KT's a half a notch above, which means any one of them could beat Kristen and I wouldn't be shocked. Even though I think Kristen's the favorite.
And to get on that sleeper topic for a little bit more, I want to keep this going. I feel like in FPO, there's 5 names who are definitely not a sleeper, and I feel like any of these have like a tangible win chance at Worlds. And that's HOLYN HANDLEY, Missy Gannon, Owen Scoggins, Evelina Salonen, and Kristen Tatar. I feel like Ella Hansen, I would probably avoid the sleeper title as well, although she feels. I mean, she won earlier this year, so it's hard not to include her in the list. But it feels a little bit more like maybe the next tier of possible winners.
Oh, it's definitely. There's no way I can put Ella in that tier.
I might even put Henna Blomroos in the not a sleeper category, even though she's looking for her first win at a major elite series. So I feel like any name after that is then a sleeper pick. And there are a handful that you are like tangible chance to win Worlds, although
I mentioned Cat Merch. Is Cat Merch sleeper-esque?
I think for a winner pick, I think so. I think people know Cat Merch. They're excited about her. She has won before. But I feel like this season we haven't seen her, consistently week in and week out fighting for that win. So I feel like she's just a little bit different.
Good. All right. We've talked a lot of disc golf, and now we're doing a little bit of filler as we wait for our interview to pop up. We can always talk
can we talk about the slip and slide or what?
Yeah, feel free to mention it. I think that's one of those extracurriculars that is interesting to be tied to like the Pro Tour, but it must look like a lot of fun.
No, I think it looked like fun. I'm totally fine with it. It felt a little bit strange because I had my phone playing live coverage on our island in the kitchen, and then like my wife walks over and like it's Ella Hansen in like 3 pink like swimming tubes signing autographs, and then my son walks in and he's like, at first he's just interested, and he's like, wait, what's happening? And the commentators are commentating on what they're seeing. So I would just say I'm actually fine with the whole thing, but like it's kind of an example of like it was a little bit weird. And when I say weird before everybody freaks out, I don't mean like the negative like problem, like don't do it. I'm just straight up saying it was like, yeah, I don't know how to explain what we're seeing. But anyway, so that's my commentary. I think I want our sport to grow. I want it to be serious, but I actually think you can sometimes get too serious. In other words, like in other pro sports, sometimes you see the pros doing something that's fun and we're all like, wow, that's fun. Right. But then like disc golf like has fun and some people are like, oh, it's not professional enough. So like, I'm fine with it. I do think it was a little bit like funny to kind of interrupt the broadcast and like have commentary on what we were seeing, but that's part of the growing pains. And I have no real problem with it at the end of the day, but it was pretty funny to see the 3 pink tubes and Ella's just chilling there.
Okay. Perfect. Sorry, I'm clearing my throat. I'm in an office and it's not air conditioned, and you don't need to hear that right now, but it's like 100 degrees up here right now, and I'm just sitting here roasting.
Sounds like a cat.
No, it's not my cat. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and bring in. I think I'm all set to do this. Let me double check. It's been a little while. 3, 2. How do I go to interview, Ben? It's literally been that long.
You click interview Matt.
Oh, yeah, and I have to hit the music at the same time. Here we go. This has been a while. Welcome to the show, everybody. HOLYN HANDLEY. We're really excited to have you tonight. Oh, it says Ganon Burr. What did I do?
Ganon Burr, welcome.
Boom.
See, this is why you need me, Matt. This is why
I need you every now and then. I took care of it now, but let me hit this button. Boom. There. We look a little bit better. HOLYN, welcome to the show. You've been busy. You've been traveling. You are maybe at your destination. Where'd you go after Ledgestone?
We just got to Idlewild, so we're staying at the course. It took us a little while because our auto leveling's like not working, so we literally just got it leveled and I just hopped back in the truck. So we're in the parking lot.
Awesome. Those roads leading to Idlewild are pretty cool. I don't know which direction you came in, but sometimes you can find those super tight winding roads. Did you come any of those?
I try to not come in on those. We have a 37-foot trailer, so that's not fun.
Awesome. So you made it to Idlewild, but let's go back. And your cat saying congrats. I'm guessing that's a cat, or it's just a stuffed animal. That
oh yeah, he's ready to be out of the truck for sure. He's a little fed up.
Well, aren't we all? No, I'm kidding. We appreciate the fact that you took this time. So congrats. Yeah. Oh, beautiful cat. Beautiful. It's
there
like
you go.
it's,
maybe if he sits in my lap, he'll be quiet.
If I described it as like a mocha color, is that wrong? Like this white, like brown Cream.
It's like a white gray. He's a Siamese.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So congrats on your Ledgestone win. This is, I don't know how you would describe it for yourself. Would you say epic? How would you describe this season for yourself so far?
I don't know. Like, just it's been fun. Good. Really good.
Really good. Yeah,
all right,
really
going
good.
Inside. He'll be happy now.
Yeah, really good. You came off of previous seasons where we knew you had it in you. We saw you win Throw Pink. You won just, what was it, a few weeks ago or a month ago? And then
I think it's a couple months ago.
A couple months. Time flies. Time flies since the last time I interviewed you on here. Yeah. So you're doing well. June. Okay. Yeah. Time flies. I moved and everything. I'm not even in my own studio. I'm in a different house. It's all crazy. So you come into this event and you take it down. Do you feel like, I think we asked you last time you were on here, we said, do you feel like that got you over like a hump where you felt like things were going to be different for you going forward? I don't remember if you were sure how you felt exactly. Do you feel like having this win now kind of does that for you, where you're like, yeah, maybe things are a little bit easier for me now in my mindset? Has anything changed?
Yeah, I think the big thing for me this year has been just like learning how to handle that final day, because I've gotten myself in position to maybe take it down several times, and then I always kind of fumble it on the final day because it just takes a lot extra effort to like stay in a good headspace, because you feel yourself running out of holes and you can feel yourself like wanting to get impatient, but that's like the opposite of what you need to do. So I think this time was kind of the first time I really like did the final day right, where I just worried about myself and I didn't really worry about what anyone on my card was doing, if the lead was growing or shrinking or anything like that.
Okay, so you kind of feel like maybe that was part of what you had done previously, is kind of maybe like finding yourself thinking about a lot of things that you're not doing now? Yeah,
like I would, if I started the day with tied for the lead or 1 or 2 strokes, and whatever happens on the first hole in my head, it can be like, okay, now the lead's this, now the lead's that, now the lead's this. Like every hole that it changes. And if I feel it shrinking, you kind of feel like this extra pressure to do something. And that kind of causes some tightness, and that makes it harder to throw the next shot. And so on this one, even though Haley started off really hot, I was just telling myself, like, I don't care what she does, I'm going to do my thing. All I have to do is do good. I don't have to do anything crazy or anything amazing, and just really focus on myself.
Well, I guess experience really does speak, to a lot of benefit for you and others. We've seen it throughout all the years when Eagle McMahon and others were coming up, Anthony Barella, and I'm comparing a lot of MPO here, but like we're watching you do it now where you kind of earn, I don't know if you had to earn anything, but gaining that experience is doing amazing things for yourself. And we were just talking about it before you came on. You are currently, as far as like average finishes this year, in this tied with Own, tied with Evelina, and the only other person right now is Kristen that is outperforming. The rest of you are right there, just like ready to win. Would you consider yourself a sleeper pick for Worlds? Sleeper being undervalued, but realistically having an opportunity to win there? Or do you think you're not a sleeper pick?
I don't know, because I don't know how other people think of me in terms of pick. I think I'm a great pick for Worlds. Pick. I've podiumed there twice. I feel like my trajectory has been just steadily up all year, and then having just taken down an event, I don't know why you wouldn't pick me. I feel like I'm just a good pick.
There you go. So before you came on, we were talking, what is a sleeper? We were defining sleeper. The chat was getting into it. So I had to ask you if you thought you were. She thinks she's a great pick, which makes total sense. Have you seen these courses in Virginia, or will this be your first time when you make it down there?
Yeah, I know nothing about them. I think I watched maybe one of Paul's like early videos when he was first designing the course, but I know next to nothing about the courses.
Well, sometimes that plays well, right? How do you feel about that? I'm sure you go in and practice all of your tournaments, but when you go into a new course and it's kind of blind, do you feel like you play better? Are you one of those players, or do you feel like I really need a solid game plan going into it?
Honestly, I treat every course the same. Generally, it's 2 practice rounds. Maybe I'll go play a couple holes on a third day if I feel like I need it. but I have like a pretty good system figured out for preparing for tournaments, and I pretty much do it the same whether I played the course before or not. So,
all right.
Not too worried about it.
Yeah, not too worried. You're a good pick. We know you are. Fantastic performance. Does anything stand out to you about this win at Ledgestone, specifically Sunset Hills, playing four rounds on the same course? I had the opportunity last year to play it myself, just a casual round. I'm not even close to the level that you guys are playing, but I watch it enough to say I felt like it was a very incredibly laid out FPO course. And that's not to talk about, I'm not trying to say skill level or anything else. It just felt right. How do you think about Sunset Hills?
I really like it. I think it is one of our more scoreable courses. I like the changes that they made, especially I think like hole 7 was one that really needed to be beefed up. So I like where they moved the tee. Yeah, I loved all of the changes that they made. I thought they made it just slightly harder to score. Like nobody ended up taking a double-digit round, even though we all kind of expected that's what you were going to have to do. I do kind of miss having Northwood Black though, just because I think the two like juxtaposed styles of play are really good. It's like a really good complete test of a disc golfer. Like I think this one plays kind of more like park style golf, and some of the shots I do feel like 4 rounds get a little monotonous. I don't know how it was to watch, but overall really, really great layout. I'm okay with not playing 4 rounds on it though in the future. Okay,
so the amount of times back to back to back, that course didn't deserve it. In your opinion, it sounds like, which is totally fair. So with that being said, that win happening, you're averaging great this year. Your ambitions are obviously probably always on the next one, but you're going into Idlewild, LWS Open at Idlewild. Do you like playing on a course like this? It's a pretty moderately wooded, but also on the shorter side. Do you like this kind of course?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the first time I played this course, I was just like blown away by how just green and beautiful it is. And I still think that, it's my 3rd time coming here. And I still, when I drive in, I'm just blown away by how beautiful the course looks. This is one of my favorites on tour. Actually, like contrary to what most people might think, I actually enjoy woods golf probably more than open golf, just because it's a little bit more challenging and it demands a lot more skill wise. And so, I'm excited. I podiumed here last year, so I really think I've got a good chance.
Okay. Josh from Overthrow Disc Golf in the chat says, how does it feel to have 1,000 rated tournament? Do you care about ratings? Does that mean anything to you, your performance?
I think ratings don't mean a ton to me. I mean, 1,000 is like a cool number just because, there's not a whole lot of, there's only Kristen who's 1,000 rated player and all that stuff. But it feels like that's kind of what you have to all year. That feels like that's what you have to do to win. And I think I even had 1,000 rated tournament where I didn't win, which was kind of crazy. But yeah, it feels good. This one was a lot less stressful. I will say that. It's nice to not lose your lead immediately.
Yeah, and now moving forward farther into the future, you have a disc golf contract right now with Discraft. When does that run out, and are you stoked to be playing better? Does that lead towards, hey, maybe a better future with Discraft?
Yeah, so I'm on year 1 of a 2-year extension, so okay. I will be up at the end of next year. It did feel really nice to win in front of all the Discraft bosses, Bob and Mike and Jim, they were all there. So yeah, it definitely felt nice to win one in front of all of them. And yeah, I think they're very happy with what I'm doing. So hopefully, that continues next year, and we'll have another contract extension at the end of it.
All right. And then I will say, when it comes to disc golf, remind me again, when did you start disc golfing? And maybe not your very first time, but you got into it. What year was that?
It was October 2019 is when very first time I picked up a disc.
So 5 years ago. You're now winning on the pro tour. When you got started, not your first time picking it up, but when you got started in competition, did you feel like you looked at the pro tour and you said, that's something I could do? Or did this just kind of fall into place?
I mean, when I first started, I didn't even necessarily think I wanted to compete. In fact, Tyler teases me all the time because I said that I would just caddy for him if he ever wanted to play, and then I didn't really want to play. And now it's like the complete opposite, and that's our whole life is him caddying for me. It wasn't until maybe like a year in when I think I got maybe my first 900 rated rounds that I thought maybe I could play like local FPO. And then it wasn't until like I actually a couple weeks before deciding to just go on tour that I even would admit that I aspired to go on tour. So I didn't really think about it. I just kind of practiced and got better because I wanted to for the sake of it, not necessarily because of any competitive aspirations. But then once I kind of decided that's what I wanted to do, that's like all it's been.
Okay, so it's all it's been. I was just going to follow up. So now you are here, though. How are you enjoying it, and what do you see for the long term before we let you go?
Oh, I'm loving it. I mean, every week I'm like, last night I was already pulling up the caddy book for Idlewild, already thinking about the next one. And, you know, I think we're going at a great pace right now. We've got some really great friends on tour. We have a lot of like break weeks kind of interspersed where we get to do some fun things. So we're really enjoying the road life. I mean, I don't have like an end in mind, really. I haven't thought that far ahead, to be completely honest. I'm just enjoying it for now.
Awesome. That's fair. And I'm going to toss it over to Josh for one last question here before we let you go.
Yeah, thank you, Holland. We appreciate your time. So you talked about being a good pick at Worlds, which I would agree with. You also, in that response, mentioned like trajectory, right? Talking about like where your trend is going. So I'm curious, is momentum like a thing? Really what I'm getting at is, does recent history mean more than long-term history? And before you answer that, here's something interesting. If you look at the last 7 events that some of the other, maybe you might say favorites have played, you are averaging the highest. So if we say, hey, over the last like 2 months or 7 events, if recent trajectory means anything, you're actually the strongest pick. So I'm curious, do you think that it tells us something, or is long-term history something more viable?
That's hard because I think, actually, I do think short-term history is a little bit more viable just because what you're doing recently indicates like whether or not you're learning from like your past mistakes, right? So, you know, even the players who maybe have had a bit of a slow stretch for the last month or so, like I would expect that they're all at home working on those weaknesses and they're going to come into Worlds really strong. And like, that's all I've been doing, you know, is just like, how can I get a little better? How can I get a little better? How can I get a little better? And like, I don't even necessarily look at trends. It's just like, what can I do now to get better for the next week? But if I had to pick, I'd probably go with the short term.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Because not that you need me to say it, but we'll say it out loud for everybody. 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 2nd, 5th, 1st. That's a pretty good trend and trajectory. So congrats. Good work, and good luck at Idlewild, LWS, and obviously Worlds. We're already talking about it here. So thank you for your time. Matt, I don't know if there's anything else.
Thank you for your time. We tried to make it easy and short for you. We appreciate it. You get set up, relax. We'll talk to you another time. Good luck out there, Holland.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. HOLYN HANDLEY, competitor, really finding herself here. It sounds like not ever intentionally being here, but it just keeps going, and she's in a groove now. And I think the future is going to have her for a while. Although she did say, not really going to think about it right now. We're just going to keep going. So I like how I asked her if she was a sleeper pick, and she's like, what? Sleeper pick? With that being said, we do have a friend joining us, going over the mountainous hills and roads, and we'll see how the cell service works here. But let's go ahead and bring into the show.
Ultimate sleeper pick right here.
Ultimate sleeper pick. Ganon Burr.
Gannon Burr.
The kid.
Oh, now look at it says Holland. Let me fix this.
Dude, Matt.
That's all right.
Oh.
Burr.
So, Gannon, last time we did an over the river and through the woods interview, you cut out going down the backside and came back. Where you go? Where, go.
Fart noises and start trying to prank me.
He started looking up fart noises to try to prank you. Alden did.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he's filming me.
He's filming you.
For the vlog. This is great.
This is
I can't do anything around them. It's not safe.
The Alden and Gannon show. I did officially move, so when you guys come back through and need to do that in-studio vlog that you like to do, it's gonna be something different, but it's cool. You'll see. It's pretty cool. All right.
I trust you.
Yeah, only the best, Gannon. You're gonna love it. You got to help me finish designing my 9-hole course now. All right. So
water carries.
Yeah, there's water carries and everything. Okay, here we go. You just won again. How many wins did you think you'd get this year? I know you're someone who kind of thinks through things. You go, if I could get this many, that'd be pretty good. Did you think you'd have this many this year?
Honestly, no. I kind of went into the year thinking it'd be tough to top what I did last year with 3 elite wins. Honestly, I kind of set a goal of number 1 was just be consistent, give myself a chance to win every week, which I've done really well. But I was like, if I just get 1 major and no other wins, I'd be pretty happy. Obviously, I have the major, I have 3 elite pluses and a normal elite, and so it's been pretty crazy. We still have a lot of big tournaments left. This year so far, I played really good in the 4-round events. So the more rounds I'm given, I feel like the easier it is for me to kind of just play consistent and stay near the top. And so, I'm looking forward to Worlds. Obviously, it's our only 5-round event of the year, and I think if I can play solid in the woods, I can probably have a good shot there too.
All right, Gannon, when you're sitting by yourself or laying in bed at night following a win like this, what are the thoughts that go through your head? Like, nobody else is hearing them. Are you questioning yourself? Are you proud of yourself? Are you shocked? Are you like, Gannon, what are you doing? Or like, what do you think, man, when you're alone by yourself?
Oh gosh. I pretty much go through every scenario in my head on how I could choke it, how I could come back from an insane deficit, make a crazy run at the win, something like that. Maybe it's a putt, maybe it's thrown in bounds or something like that on a goal hole. I don't know. Like I said, it's just everything goes through my head. I think, for example, like with having a 5-stroke lead going into the final round, there's this little bit of added pressure that you have to win. It kind of seems like a lead that you should hang on to, obviously. I've always said it's a lot easier to play from behind because you got nothing to lose. If you are almost expected to win by yourself or the people around you, it makes it a little more difficult. And so, I could just see everything going wrong in my head for what happened at Ledgestone. But obviously, it kind of did at the beginning. My front nine was not very good. Obviously, I was able to birdie 9 of my last 10 holes, so that kind of sealed the deal for sure to get the win by 7, I believe. But yeah, it's I basically go through every scenario in my head just to, in case that happens, I'm prepared.
Yeah, so I do that in life too, and it's called anxiety. No, but
Yes.
he's like, yes, it's true. But I guess I was trying to be more specific, and that was a great answer on information that we didn't know. But I was trying to be more specific towards following a win. You're alone by yourself, and you're thinking, what is my season? Like, how am I doing this? Like, are you surprised by yourself? Did you think you would always be here? Are you like, this is lucky. I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, what do you think about yourself?
Wait, ask you one more time?
Yeah, like you're evaluating when you're alone by yourself following a win like this, and you're just looking at your season, you're like talking to yourself. Are you like, Gannon, how are you doing this? Or are you like, Gannon, I knew you always had this in you?
I don't know. Kind of both.
Okay.
It's like you're always a little bit surprised, but honestly, this year, my confidence, I feel like, has been a lot higher in terms of when it comes to winning tournaments. I think like not stressing after the first round. If I'm not in the lead, it's okay. There's always time to kind of make up for that. And I feel like that's what I did. I did very well for, what happened. Oh, turn it off, bro. Is that my phone? Yeah. Okay, my phone's. Am I good? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, something weird was happening.
All good. Are you sick, Gannon? Are you going to be able to play this weekend?
Okay, it's funny you bring that up. I was dealing with a bit of a cold for Ledgestone. I did not feel great, especially the first 2 rounds. And so that was, honestly, I had like no expectations for Ledgestone because we were just coming back from Europe. So I didn't have a lot of sleep, obviously. But the other thing was just, on top of that, I started to feel horrible. And, but it kind of went away by day 3 and day 4, and it was a little easier to focus. But it kind of made this weekend a big chore. I remember back 9 of day 3, I was pretty much out of energy, and I had to kind of manufacture some because, I was kind of just feeling like my head wasn't really in it. I was still playing pretty good, but I could feel my focus was kind of draining just a little bit. And so I had to make sure to really exaggerate my routine to make sure I wasn't, going to make any stupid or silly mistakes because I knew it's important to close out a round like that. I'll kind of stand here. I'll be in a little bit later. All right.
Okay.
We're at a restaurant, but yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
We're going to pass this over to Evan. He's got a few trivia game type questions that we're going to play. He's going to ask you some questions. It's kind of like an over-under type thing. Evan, you got that for him?
Yeah, well, I was expecting other people to play
We can play as well, but we got
Gannon
Gannon up. But we'll play along.
We'll feature Gannon, but we'll definitely get yours. So we call this game CTP, closest to player. So I'm going to name a player and a stat, and what you have to do is name another player who you think is closest to that player in that stat. For the season on the Disc Golf Pro Tour World schedule, so includes the DGPT Europe Elite Series, and you can also name across divisions. So if I say one player, but you want to name someone else in a different division, MPO or FPO, you can. So, does that make sense? Any questions, Gannon?
I'm just like, so if it's like circle one putting and it was, Ricky, I could say like Marweed or something like that, or
exactly. And the way you get points in this game is if you're the closest to the player. That's where it gets the CTP title. We give 3 points out if you are the closest, and then we give a bonus runner-up point if you are the second closest, and no sharing points of ties. I didn't go that far in the calculation. So we'll have Josh, Matt, and Ben playing as well, but we'll go a little quick with the answers. So starting us off, we're going Ganon Burr, circle 2 putting. So part of the game is knowing what that percentage is. I'm sure you have a better idea what your circle 2 putting percentage is compared to the other guys on this show. So now you're thinking of someone else who is close to that percentage. So let's go ahead and start with Gannon. You can't say duplicates. And then we'll go the rest of the show.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm just going Ricky Wysocki.
Oh, dang it. Now I have to come up with another one.
All right. Josh or Ben or Matt?
Marweed.
No. Yeah, me too. All right, I'm going to go. I'm probably way wrong. Niklas Antilla.
Hurry, Ben.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Gannon.
You put me in a tough spot here. I'm gonna go. I know. I'll go Matteo. I don't know.
That's a good guess. I like that one.
Thank you.
Circle 2 putting percentage is 35.11%. The winner of the CTP is Ganon Burr with Richard Wysocki, who's at 34.7%, getting the full 3 points. Second place, Ben Kenny, 33.62 for Matty O. So great guess there. Niklas and Marweed are both in the high 20%. So Ganon Burr's leading, 3 points to Ben's 1, to the zeros for the other players, contestants. We are now going to Kristen Tatar in cash earned on the year in just major and elite series events. Let's go. We'll go around.
Is this
circle,
only FPO or also MPO?
It is also MPO. You can do MPO or FPO, but it's just for major and elite series events, so it does not include other events in the season. So if you're looking at her, if you can be the closest to Kristen Tatar's cash earned on the year.
And this is Gannon guessing.
I was saying we were going to switch up the order, but it can be Gannon first. Actually, it's a benefit to go first. So.
It is.
Looks like I'll go first again.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Anthony Barilla.
Wow. Josh.
HOLYN HANDLEY.
Dang it. Man. Okay, here we go. I'm up next. Missy Gannon. That's not right, but go ahead.
I'm going to go with. Sorry, you guys keep taking mine. I don't know.
I'm calling 30 seconds on Ben.
Yes.
So no one seconded. I'll go. Niklas. I don't know.
All right. Kristen Tatar's cash earned on the season is $44,797. The closest to that is Holland Hanley at $46,342.
That was my guess.
So Josh gets 3 points there on the board. And then Matt's also on the board with Missy Gannon getting 49,750. Both Nicolas Antela and Anthony Barrella are in the 50,000s. So not as close as the other two. So we got Josh and Ganon Burr at 3, Ben and Matt at 1. We are now going to Paul Macbeth and Circle 1 in regulation percentage.
Oh, gosh.
Paul Macbeth, Circle 1 in regulation percentage.
I'm gonna go. Wow, this is pretty tough. I feel like he's a pretty good thrower. I feel like if he plays bad, it's usually his putting is just the problem. So, I'll go with Ezra Robinson.
Josh.
Ganon Burr.
Bad pick.
Chris Dickerson.
According to my calculations, I'm going to go with Mason Ford.
All right. Paul Macbeth's Circle 1 in regulation percentage on this season is 42.56%. The closest with 42.82% is Ezra Robinson. So another 3 points to Gannon Burr. And then Chris Dickerson at 45.81% is the next closest after that, getting an additional point. Gannon Burr is way up in 48%, Josh. So quite a bit of ways. And Mason Ford's on the other direction at 36.95%. Yeah.
Circle 1 putting, which is why I picked Mason Ford. I stand corrected.
Yeah, that's a you problem. All right, all the love.
I apologize for it getting so dark. We're running out of daylight.
Who is talking to us right now? It's just a black screen.
Turn on the light.
All right.
Man's still buckled up too, and he hasn't even been moving. That's safety.
Sure I can unbuckle.
That's
I'm
safety
good.
right there.
We're not even moving. I'm safety.
All right. Appreciate the time, Gannon. We're going Holland Hanley, and we're doing her OB rate, but it's OBs per 18 holes, which is just a different way to look at it. And I'll kind of explain the number when we say it, but really it's going to be the same for OB rate. Just a different way of representing it. So still the closest to Holland Hanley's OB rate per 18 holes.
I feel like she's pretty middle of the pack. Like she's definitely like throws and bounds more than most people, but I was gonna say Owen, but I feel like she never throws out of bounds. That's pretty tough. Let's go Haley King.
Ella Hansen.
Emily Weatherman.
Okay. Wait, can you hear me? Wait.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Drew Gibson.
All right. So Holland Hanley has an OB per 18 holes at 1.73. That representation, just easy way to know that on an average round, she'll go OB 1.73 times. The closest is Emily Weatherman at 1.51, giving the 3 points to Matt. Next closest, all the rest are in the twos. Next closest is Ella Hansen at 2.06, giving a point to Josh. And then Drew Gibson and Haley King are both right near each other at 2.39 and 2.41. So 0 points to Ben and Gannon Burr. Gannon, you're sitting with 6 points in the lead. Matt's right behind with 5. Josh is right behind with 4. And unlike Pop, Drop, and Lock, Ben's sitting in last place with just 1 point.
Dang it.
All right, just 2 left. Eagle McMahon and number of events finishing in the cash. Eagle McMahon, and then the number of events he has cashed at major and elite series events this year.
Ooh.
Be around there.
And if you're still thinking, if someone else has a
Someone else,
has a
yeah,
name.
someone else go.
I'll go.
No,
I'll
no,
go.
we can't jump that far. Hey, we're gonna go to Josh.
Ooh, I mean, I have no idea. Ben Calloway.
I'm gonna say Nate Sexton.
I'm going Alden the Cockatoo Harris.
Oh gosh. I don't know why I'm so bad at this.
30 seconds.
A lot of disc golfers out
I
there.
don't want to guess so bad. No, put the music off. I can't even think of players. GT Hancock.
Out of left field. I love it. Shadow Hooligan.
All right. Eagle McMahon has 5 events finishing cash so far this year in major and elite series events. Nate Sexton is the most points with 4, getting the 3 points to Matt. Sneaks into the lead.
Yes.
But in a tie for second, and again, no sharing points to just get
Let's
the full points for that
go.
place. Nope. Sorry, Ben. Josh and Gannon Burr each get 1. Ben Calloway has 8, 3 more than Eagle McMahon, and GT Hancock has 2, 3 less than Eagle McMahon. So they both get a point. Ben, you're still at 1, but Matt's in the lead with 8.
What did
Gannon Burr's
Alden
in
get?
second with 7. He had 10.
Oh,
cash in
darn
this
it.
season.
he's
That
doing
was so
too
bad.
good.
And then Josh is at 5, just 2 behind Gannon and 3 behind Matt. Going into our final question. We can, of course, do a bonus if we need to. But we are going Lisa Fakis top 10s. She finished top 10 this weekend. There's one hint, but how many top 10s does she have on the year? Well, actually, not how many does she have in the year. How many does she have and who's closest to that number?
Oh my goodness.
I'll go Jake Hebenheimer.
Cat merch.
Oh yeah, it's Josh, but not
Haley King. Haley King.
Henna Blumroos.
Cat merch.
All right.
Yo, where's Gannon?
We have a winner.
I'm gone.
It's not canon. Let's go farthest away to first. Lisa Fakis has 7 top 10s on the year. Little sneaky, if you ask me. I didn't
That
think
is
it was
sneaky.
high.
Yeah.
Sleeper. That's
Jake,
sleeper.
that's a sleeper top 10 finisher. Jake Hebenheimer only has 2 finishes on the year, getting Gannon 0 points.
Jake.
Then in first place for this round,
Come on.
but also the game, Matt with Henna Blomers,
Oh.
who has 7 exactly. So that's 3 full points to Matt. Matt, you got points every single round since the first round.
Wow.
Finishing with 11. And then quickly, Kat Mersch with 8 and Haley King with 6, both 1 away from the 7. So each getting Ben and Josh points. So the final standings, Matt with 11, Ganon Burr with 7, Josh with 6, and Ben with 2.
All right. We'll have to settle it over disc golf, Gannon. When you come out, we'll settle it. You know, I have you in this game. But hey, thanks for your time, dude. I'm sure you're gonna enjoy something. Hopefully in there in the restaurant. I think you said you're at.
Where are you eating? If it's not
called
costing you.
Where?
Ford's Garage.
Ford's Garage.
And I'm gonna get a lava cake with just a normal cheeseburger and a side of mac and cheese and a water to drink.
I'd take
When was
that.
the last time you had churros?
I mean, they didn't have any in Europe, so at least a month.
All right. Well, next time you come up, churros on me. Mexicali Grill. I got you.
Yes, I'm down.
Sweet. All right. Seriously, man. Thanks for your time. Shred it out there.
I'm sorry it's so dark.
No, it's all right. This is how we like it.
Yep.
All
That's
right.
how you know it's authentic, you know?
Yeah, it's out
All
there.
right.
Peace out,
See you guys.
dude. We'll talk to you guys another time. Bye. Just hanging out with Gannon. There's only so many things you can ask him every week he comes on. We just decided to play a game with him. And then it goes dark. We could have picked anybody and just try to be Gannon. But no, that was good.
Did he make that final round boring this past weekend?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. All right.
It was pretty boring.
people are starting to time everybody out there now. I mean, it's happening for a long time, but people are starting to like time, like, this guy took time. Why aren't they calling him? What is it like? We don't need to get into that again, but there should be some serious consistency, and as opposed to like judging where like, oh, well, they don't do it all the time, so we give them a little more grace. I don't know exactly how it's happening, but I will tell you, if there are two Evans on here, part of PDGA, so you don't need to react, but then they show up 2 seconds late to their tee time, stroke. So I was talking to Robert Leonard, and I won't put him on record here, but he said something, well, maybe I will. He said something that actually stood out. Like, he goes, if you don't have something to enforce it, there's no penalty. It's just a suggestion. So people are kind of treating that 30-second thing as a suggestion, and then there has to be a little bit of judgment tied to that. We'll see if that ever changes. But in the meantime, we talked a lot about all different things tonight, as we usually do. We thank you all for listening so much. Shout out again to our sponsor for this episode, Disc Golf 978. Be sure to stay tuned, whether it's next week or the following week, when we actually say this is the week to play Pop Drop Lock with us for the prize, the gold ticket, the insider pass for MVP Open. So you probably want to become a user on that game prior to. So go and get it this week as soon as you can. We'll notify you of that. Josh and I are camping next week. Evan, I think you're on. I think Ben's on, and Nick should be back hopefully from this hurricane. You guys will be holding down the next one. Did we miss anything before we wrap it up? Ben, what do you think? Evan, Josh, anything?
Episode 200.
Yeah.
No, that was a long boy episode, but it was a goodie.
We've had longer.
I know, but maybe it's because I'm not able to look at the clock anymore of like how long it's been.
Clocks aren't allowed in the Kenny house.
We've been streaming 2 hours and 5 minutes. Eventually I'll have you guys over here. I got to settle in, and it's going to take a little bit, but once we are, we'll have epic parties and times, and it'll be awesome.
Here's my question. Are you still doing the hoedown, throwdown, family, backyard extravaganza again this year?
Hoedown? Probably not, because I don't think I could pull it off. I don't think I could pull it off.
The two-year tradition, or was it one?
Yeah, one. It's because I moved.
Early.
It's because I moved. We're hopefully going to do it, and I don't want to put any epic promises out there, but I was talking to a certain someone who lives in Massachusetts and also just bought a house, and they're also putting a course on their property, and we're already talking about a little circuit up here, so we'll see. It's something should come.
Well, I know a course near you that we might be able to accommodate.
We'll get the third one, so we'll figure it out.
And also, I think we go back to back from GMC to MVP Open this week too. So last week we had that nice little break in between, give people lots of time to hang out in Massachusetts or wherever. Don't have that this year. I don't think. I really need to check the schedule.
We don't.
So, okay.
I know we're wrapping up, but man, this season has been packed in that way. I'm curious if this is the way of the future, where it's literally back to back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
There's like,
and it's like almost over already.
Yeah,
but like we still got so much left. So
yeah, it's insane. So all right,
crazy.
Nick's not here to do his outro. Episode 200. I don't know if he planned it that way. Ben's bringing it back. We're excited to have everybody listen and tune in every time. Be sure to check out our sponsors, and like I said, sign up for Pop Drop Lock. We appreciate you listening every single week. You can do us a favor, share, like, subscribe. That's just helpful to our sponsors. Nobody else, I mean, some people like listening to us. You do, obviously. You're listening to us. We hope you gained something of benefit from it, or you benefited from it, found something worth listening to and coming back for it.
Tell someone you love them.
Yeah, the chat's saying tell someone you love them. So there you go. Tell someone you love them. Till next time, everybody. We'll catch you out there. Peace out.